Hey everyone, this is Casual Shenanigans Gaming, a podcast all about DayZ, Battlefield, and everything PC gaming related. I'm one of your hosts, JERMgaming, or Jeremiah. This week I'm joined by my co-host, Dave.
Hey guys, I'm Dave, the not-so-evil Viking 13.
And
hey,
Joel.
Dave.
Hi, Joel.
You can call me Wilson.
For no reason, really.
Yeah, for no reason. Well, why do we call you Evil Viking then?
Because he picked it.
Oh, you have a reason. I don't have a reason to have a nickname.
Touché, sir.
Oh, who's not wearing headphones?
No, I'm wearing headphones. It was just the stream is coming out of my speakers. Sorry, Echo.
Well, then you're not wearing headphones,
It's
right?
done.
See, when you wear headphones, what's supposed to happen is the things that normally come out of speakers don't. And they just come out of your headphones.
Your audio, your voice is coming out. But
Yes, that's what
YouTube
I'm
is
saying.
coming out of my Mac speakers.
But see, what I'm doing is all of your audio is coming through my headphones.
Don't make me come over there and light you.
And let me? What is that supposed to mean?
Light you on fire. It's
Oh.
like it's all.
I didn't know that's the way we shorten that down to. I'll come light you, boy.
That's what the cool. That's what the cool cats are saying.
That's what Joel's gonna do in DayZ standalone, is just go around lighting people on fire. That's his catchphrase. I'm gonna light you, boy.
Anyway, you may have noticed once again, Dave does not have a webcam, so we'll work on that in the future. I've got like a half VGA resolution one I can probably mail to you. It's the best. Because it turns out your like semi-custom built super old gaming laptop doesn't have drivers available. Is that...
Yeah, it's kind of sad. It shipped with XP, and I upgraded to Vista 64-bit to get a RAM upgrade in like 2009, and that poor little camera has like no drivers for it at all. It's sad.
Oh, well. Well, I've got a real gem I can send you, so...
Yay.
So first up, we want to talk about DayZ or Battlefield first?
Let's do Battlefield.
Battlefield. Okay, so in-game just came out, and we have played a couple hours of it so far. And Dave, as our kind of resident Battlefield expert, what are your initial thoughts on in-game? Being the last DLC that DICE has made for Battlefield, are you happy? Are you sad? Are you underwhelmed?
I'm so sad. It's all over now. Nah, it's pretty great. The initial impression wasn't as strong as Aftermath. I guess just because Aftermath felt a little bit more polished. Capture the Flag is not great in larger game modes. I played some I think it was like 8 versus 8 Capture the Flag, and that was a lot of fun. That's a lot more fun with a smaller player count. I think mainly because you guys were talking about like the vehicles. There's just so many vehicles on the larger matches.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Like Capture the Flag, the most recent game I've played Capture the Flag in is Tribes. And Tribes, there are vehicles, but no one really buys them. But on Tribes, it's fun because you can get going like, I think the equivalent is like 150 miles an hour, just skiing across the ground, and then like do a jump, grab the flag, and like fly away super quickly. And in Battlefield, you have to get off your dirt bike, pick up the flag, and hop back on the dirt bike. Like, to me, that seems like something that needs to be patched pretty much immediately. Because what fun is Capture the Flag if you have to stop and get off? People are just going to camp the flags. Like, when we were playing, there were just mines and C4 everywhere.
Yeah, there's a lot of mines right now. Like, if you need mines for an achievement, go ahead and play some Capture the Flag.
or claymores, because people will have to be hopping off, so might as well do that.
That's true.
But, I mean, like, it shows a lot of potential. There were several times we were just kind of racing across, like, chasing after a dirt bike, shooting at them when they're carrying the flag, stuff like that. Like, that's really fun. It's just all of the
camping and the insta-killing.
Yeah, they kind of drag it down.
Yeah, I told Dave earlier, I think another thing that they should probably not have put in is so many vehicles, I think, other than motorcycles. Mostly for the fact that, I mean, what makes Capture the Flag so much fun on Halo is that you don't die immediately. You get a few extra seconds after you get shot to kind of figure out what to do. Where in Battlefield, it's pretty much you're dead as soon as you get shot. So adding that with the helicopter and all those other vehicles, and it's like 30 players, it makes it really hard because you have barely, you're immediately dead. So yeah,
I wouldn't mind them changing the Capture the Flag to dirt bike superiority. Because like, dirt bikes are fun. It's fun that you can shoot people from them. I do wish the driver could like pull out your sidearm and shoot. I think that'd be really cool.
Only if you held it sideways.
I mean, it could be done.
Why haven't they made EOD bot superiority? It's just like Robot Wars.
I would buy that DLC so hard.
The lame, slow Robot Wars.
Sparks everywhere.
What about the new maps? I mean, Battlefield 3 has 29 maps and almost as many game modes, but 29 maps. So at this point, I don't know about you guys, but like I played the maps. I was like, yeah, that's good, and that was like I didn't
DICE
really
is
feel
like
anything
on top
else.
of their game, so I feel like anything they make at this point is going to be good. Like it's just kind of a given. Like the
Well,
maps are going to be good.
good. But when I said it's good, I meant like they're not really sticking with me. Like I don't think there's another Wake Island in there or Back to Karkand, or
Well,
Caspian Border. Like I don't know. They're very competent maps. Like they don't blow me away.
I spent a bit more time on a couple of them, and Riverside and Railroad are really growing on me. I think those might be some long-term maps. They both have kind of a Bad Company 2 style to them, I guess. Like a bit more room for flanking, but still kind of clustered. So it's like a kind of that mid-ground for a Battlefield map. And of course the visuals are just ridiculous. Like I was talking to Jill about that one Rush game that we played on the Railroad map. I can't remember the actual name of it at the moment, but DICE added all that really cool underbrush, and I actually caught a squad. Like I kept hearing fire, and I couldn't figure out where they were. And I realized they had suppressed weapons, and they were crawling through the grass, and they were just totally hidden. Like that was an awesome moment, catching them in the grass like that. Like no real cover, just the grass. Just a ton of detail. It's pretty awesome.
I mean, the maps are good. I guess it's not like it's not any problem with the maps. At this point, there's just so many maps that
Yeah,
it's kind
it's
of
true.
like, well, here's some more. I mean, at least they didn't give us like 5 more guns or 6 more guns with this one. Like I don't know.
Yeah,
are
it's not
there
needed.
more assault rifles they haven't put in the game yet?
Only
Like,
from the future.
Right. Like honestly, if you had to, other than variations of existing ones, I don't know if I could come up with other major assault rifles that are not in that game. It's pretty nuts.
Yeah,
I was kind of hoping for a bonus gun like the M1 Garand from Bad Company 2. That was my precious. I love that
That would
thing.
be pretty cool.
They'll probably do that as DLC for Battlefield 4 just to get everyone to buy it.
It would probably work too.
It would work for Dave.
No comment.
But yeah, so I don't think we're ready to have a conversation about like where Battlefield fits into the pantheon of Battlefield games or first-person shooters. We probably want to play in-game for a month or two, and especially see
Yeah.
if they patch any changes. Like my opinion of in-game is going to go up a lot if they patch capture the flag, so that you can like pick up the flag while you're moving and stuff like that. Get rid of a couple vehicles. That would make a big difference for me, and I would probably really enjoy it. As of right now, I enjoy it, but I think so far my favorite DLC, I'm probably going to get flack for this, is probably Close Quarters.
I don't even know you anymore.
Those are good maps. I like Aftermath. I think that's my favorite.
Yeah, I don't know. I really like Close Quarters. And I guess Back to Karkand's probably my next favorite. So far, Armored Kill is my least favorite. Armored Kill? What's it called?
Yeah, it's Armored Kill. Yeah.
Okay, I couldn't remember because there's the one. What's the name of the one
Armored
map that
Superiority.
copies the name?
Armored Shield is the map name.
Yeah, because no one said, "Huh, that's a bad idea to copy the name." But anyway, but yeah, anyone have any more thoughts on Endgame? I mean, we've just really started playing, and I don't know if there's a whole lot we can say about it right now, but
Yeah, I need to take you guys on one of those low population capture the flag servers, because it was
I'd love
really
to do
frustrating
that.
to do the high pop one.
well, I know the first night of it being live is probably not the best time to try to get a good feel for it anyway.
Yeah.
Because there's all the clan guys out, and we are technically clan guys too. But when we mean clan guys, we mean
But
people who
only
are-
technically.
people are taking it seriously, whereas we're just killing people.
Look, new toys for us to play with.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I haven't played it enough. I think playing it on a server with a lot less people, between 16 and 20 maybe, I think I might enjoy that. But
Yeah.
I really hope they do patch it so that you only have just motorcycles. That
the
helicopter
cool part
I
about
think,
the low
ruins
population.
the game though.
or
Yeah.
motorcycles and little birds would be cool.
Yeah.
Like little birds, I mean, I think that'd be more competitive. As it is now, a Viper and a Havoc, like, what is a dirt bike gonna do? They can't drive faster. They can't escape at all.
Okay, confession time. I do have the guided missile equipped on the Little Bird, and I have nailed a few dirt bikes with those. Like, they have no lock warning, they just die.
So yeah, that's Battlefield. We'll talk about it more in the coming weeks, obviously.
Should we talk about air superiority mode, too? What we're hearing?
Oh, well, I mean, if you want to.
You mean Dave talk about air support?
Yeah. Would you like to talk about Dave's special mode?
I actually was gonna confess here. I've only played it twice, like since
Really?
it came out. It's fun, but I can't play more than a round at a time because it is a lot of fun, but only in short bursts. Kind of
Just
like how I
because
feel
it's
about
so
close quarters.
overpowering?
It's really really chaotic, which is like I said, it's fun for short bursts, but it's not very tactical, strategic. You die more to air crashes with your teammates than you do to enemies.
Yeah, I feel like that mode could be much cooler if the map was like 10 times bigger, and you get more time to like fly around mountains. I told Dave, okay, this is a DLC I really would pay for right away, and I don't even like flying the jets. Is if they made a canyon mode like Independence Day. That would be awesome. Being able to fly down through stuff. I don't know why they didn't do it. It's like boring. You're just in the air. Like, sorry, it's boring. If they had mountains and canyons and stuff you could fly under, or a broken giant New York City that you could fly around, I think that would be a lot of fun. It would. I think it'd feel a little bit more like what's that great game for Super NES? Star Fox. It's something like that where there's things to go around and hide. I think that you could create a lot of cool scenarios by,
that would have been a nice mix up. The maps are nice and big. I don't know if you tried them all, but it is just flying around in the air basically.
Yeah, I think that, and there's no clouds, are there?
I'm not sure. I actually haven't tried all the air superiority maps, so I'm not sure if any of them had those clouds like they had in Armored Kill. That's a good question.
Right.
Well, but yeah, that's Endgame. Pretty good so far. Enjoying it. Definitely worth the premium cost for all this DLC awesomeness.
Yeah, I would say so. Well, I would say it would be more worth the premium cost, except for that they like charged everyone for premium and then pretty much immediately dropped the cost of the premium edition of the game to like $40. I thought that was kind of stupid, but maybe that's just me. It kind of irritated me. Yeah, it was just like, come on, guys! Like, pretend like you weren't just gouging me for money.
It's like that horrible feeling when you buy a brand new Mac laptop, and then like literally 3 months later, that's just when they upgrade them. You're like, no.
Yeah, I don't know that feeling at all.
Well, no, see, I've got that feeling of like, do I buy a part now or do I wait? Because like I know. Last time I brought a processor, the 2500K came out right afterwards for $100 less, and the 2500K is still faster than my processor. Actually, okay, can we detour on that real quick?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
Sorry, Joel. CPU talk.
No, Joel, you can chime in. What?
I said chime in.
That was quite the pitch you hit there.
I think I'm ready for my CPU is bottlenecking my fancy new GPU. And
here we go.
So I'm thinking, all right, here's the thing. An FX 8320 is only like $170 and will fit into my existing motherboard. Talk me out of it. Convince me to get a 3570K or wait for Haswell. Convince me.
What are you bottlenecking in? Like which apps, games, or
anything that's not optimized for multi-cores? That'd be Grand Theft Auto, Arma, obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, Arma is technically optimized for multiple cores, but
it wastes most of them.
right. AMD is their per core performance kind of sucks.
Yeah.
It's mostly just really like Battlefield. It's totally fine. Far Cry, totally fine. I could probably pick up some extra frames, but I'm more concerned about being ready for DayZ. And then on top of that, I do so much photo processing. My Phenom is not doing a great job at large photo batches and stuff, which is something I do a lot of. So like that actually costs me money when it doesn't work well.
Man, you had this whole like spiel prepared. I think someone's convincing themselves over here.
Well, no. But so here's the thing.
Bye.
If you are familiar with the FX line, the Vishera line of processors, the 8320 is an 8-core. So even though its per-core performance isn't as good as an Ivy Bridge processor, it has 8 cores. So for video rendering, it does a really good job.
Now, is it 4 cores with hyper-threading, or is it actually 8 cores?
8 core, 8 thread.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. And these ones.
Okay, guys, calm down.
These ones can be
start
overclocked
muting you guys.
easily to 4.5 gigahertz. And there are quite a few people that are able to hit like 4.8 to 5.
Yeah, I mean, it might be a good like stepping stone if you could sell your current CPU off, do the whole eBay route and get a bit
I
back
should be
for
able to
it.
actually get like 110, 115 bucks for my current CPU. So if I spend 170 on the new one, it drops right into the same slot. Like that's not bad.
Yeah, that's a pretty sweet upgrade.
So convince me why I should go Intel. Because I told you, every time I look to upgrade, somehow AMD wins me over every time. Even though I keep telling myself, oh, I should have gotten an Intel or an NVIDIA.
Jeremiah, one day you gotta stop leapfrogging and you just have to go for the gold.
Convince me. Like, give me reasons.
Probably just better application support. I've been in Intel for a while, so I honestly I can't compare it to the modern AMDs, but generally I've gotten better performance out of my Intel builds than my AMD like compared.
I know that per core, Intel absolutely stomps AMD.
Yeah.
But AMD just overcomes that by throwing in as many cores as they can hold. So,
And
I don't know.
actually supporting their CPU platforms for more than like 3 months.
Yeah. That is one thing AMD is awesome at. Like, the same socket you bought in 2009 can hold their their newest processors, which is
Yeah.
pretty awesome.
Yeah, a year after you buy an AMD CPU, you can go to AMD and buy like the newest one that just came out. With an Intel board, a year later you go to eBay and buy the one that you should have bought a year ago because the platform is like now extinct.
Well, at work, I've got a 2500K that's running at, it's like kind of like a budget motherboard. It's maybe like a $120 motherboard. I think it's a gigabyte. And without much work, I've gotten it up to an easy 4.5 gigahertz. And like, it just screams.
Yeah.
And it's very tempting because like you can pick up, I don't know if I'd ever buy a used processor, but you can get a used 2500K for like 150 bucks online. I just don't know, like if I go Intel, I've got to get a new board, and I don't
Joel,
know.
you're actually running a used Q9550,
Nine.
right?
Yeah, that's exactly, yeah. Yep.
And we actually took Joel's CPU from the stock 2.8 to I think was it 3.6 or so, Joel?
Gosh,
Was it 3.5?
You made some number bigger. All I know is that all I know is that DayZ went from like about 25 frames per second or ish between 20 to it stays about 32 now. So
Well,
game fu-
that's a positive difference. Although I think
Yeah,
I figured out the biggest thing that affects DayZ and Arma in general. I'm playing around with a custom mission, which I'm going to want you guys to help me play test soon because it should be a lot of fun.
Sweet.
I'm having a lot of fun making it in the editor. But the
is that Arma
more,
3 you said?
yeah,
Yeah.
but the more AI, the farther your frame rate drops. Like
Yeah, the AI is not efficient at all.
I dropped from, I was running at like 40 frames per second to 11 just by adding an undisclosed number of units because you haven't seen the thing yet, so I don't want to give anything away. But
Dun, 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 dun.
yeah, so that appears to be a big part of their problem. But anyway, yeah. Well, like with DayZ coming out, I imagine when DayZ comes out, like we're gonna be spending a pretty decent amount of time playing it. I don't know if it'll be as bad as like people who play WoW all the time, but I'm okay with it if it is. So I'm just wanting to be prepared. I haven't decided what I'm gonna do. It's the difference between like a $70 CPU upgrade and a $300.
I just want to make sure I'm upgraded enough for when Age of Empires HD comes out.
Oh yeah, coming out on Steam. We should buy a 4-pack.
Oh yeah, dude, I'm so
Yeko
excited
may
for that
actually go
game.
ahead and buy it and then just have us pay him for some copies. He's like all
Okay.
excited.
All right, so it'll be us three, and then don't tell anyone else, so we can all get in. We
But
like,
it's not
but
so
it-
bad. Wait, I guess we would say $5, right?
yeah. I would
So,
say $5.
yeah, No,
It's
I know
$5.
that. I'm just saying it's $20 if we somehow missed it. So
I kind of
it's not
wish.
bad.
Wish they released it for like 10. You know.
Yeah, it's a little expensive, but
Oh,
but-
they don't
but
need
they
to
could-
because they're gonna make bank.
Exactly. I said they can charge it because as soon as I saw Age of Empires 2 HD, I was like, doesn't matter. I'm in.
yeah, we're basically
So
just paying
excited.
at this point. We're just paying for a patch.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Because it could run in HD resolutions before. It just couldn't.
No, it couldn't.
What? It would run at like
It-
1024 by 768, right?
I think that was about it. Yeah.
Okay, well that's
Yeah.
But it's
almost
just
HD.
it's just annoying not supporting 16:9 aspect ratio and being able to have a wider view. It was like
and
really zoomed
running on
in.
Windows 7 without the. Have you ever seen like the
Yeah.
red terrain
Yeah.
texture glitch? Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm really excited for that.
And
it's
networking support.
I know. Oh gosh.
Without having to do the whole LAN search.
Yeah.
Oh, the networking was like from a different age.
I told Dave
An
that
age.
we need to we need to make a massive map and then give each other an hour to just build your empire and then be like war and then just.
I don't think you know how Age of Empires works.
No,
we make a gentleman's agreement saying we'll give each other
That's
an
what I mean.
hour.
Yeah.
Wait, we're gonna believe one of Joel's gentleman's agreements.
I'm
I
not
wonder-
that great at the game.
All the
I like
old cheat
building.
codes work. Anyone remember Big Daddy?
Oh yeah.
I don't
Cheat
remember
code.
that one.
I mean, as soon as we loaded the first game, I'm immediately going to type in die, die, die and see what happens. I'm just warning you ahead of time. Yeah, anyway, Age of Empires 2.
I'm gonna invite
Shameless
my
plug.
friend
Buy
Ricky,
it.
who's amazing at the game.
No,
So-
don't do that.
Well, Edgar apparently is amazing. So
I see. Like I used to
Yeah,
be really
he
good because
is.
that was my only game was Age of Empires 1, then Age of Empires 2. So I used to be really awesome, but I don't know if I got it in me anymore.
no, that's what I was saying. If we give each other an hour to build and then go all out war, Edgar will still kill us all, but it'll be a little bit more fun.
Chris is really good. Don't count him out. He's put a lot of time into it. He's one of those annoying people where like if you're beating him, he'll just take some villagers and start running and playing in town centers all over the place. Even if he's
I'm
going
also
to
that
lose,
guy.
he's just gonna make you suffer as long as possible, just to spite you. But yeah, Age of Empires 2, play it. So DayZ. DayZ, they released a devblog video the other day showing them actually playing in the game. Like a couple of people from the Reddit sub, like a couple moderators, they were running around in there with Matt Lightfoot and Dean Rocket Hall, and they were just talking about a bunch of things. So Dave, our DayZ expert, what really excited you watching that video?
I loved all the awkwardness because apparently there was like a massive amount of server delay, and they were conducting all the questions and like the back and forth via the in-game chat. And so Rocket would like ask them a question, and they wouldn't hear it for like 8 or 9 seconds, and then they would all try to respond at the same time. So after a few interruptions, Rocket would like ask a question, and everyone would just sit there waiting for the first person to respond, and it was wonderfully awkward.
Yeah,
That's my favorite part.
It didn't seem like all right, guys, it's time to film the blog update. It looked more like, hey, oh yeah, we got to do this thing. You guys hop in. We'll just we'll do it live.
Apparently that's what happened, and I'm not going to cover a whole bunch of the stuff that was in there because it was kind of a rambly video. It is worth watching, so you guys should go check that out if you haven't.
Yeah, you definitely should. If I remember, I'll put it in the description for this channel.
I will cover a couple of key things that he posted on the blog and did go over in the video. Zombie spawning is now completely server side. So whereas clients moving around the server would be what controlled zombie spawns in the mod, you could actually use that as a way to see, hey, is anyone in this area? If you were like show up to a town and there's a few zombies wandering around, okay, yeah, someone else got here first. They're spawning zombies. But now the server's going to know and populate the server with zombies before you get there. And this is actually going to mean more zombies. I think the most I ever saw in the mod was like, what, 600 back when the debug counter actually showed zombies per server, right?
Yeah,
No, I think it was closer to 1,000.
Closer to 1,000?
Yeah.
Yeah, Rocket's saying that they've already gotten up to like 4,000 with a solid 30 FPS in the servers. So we're going to see hordes finally.
Now, he didn't say what the server is, though. Like, he didn't, he
Yeah.
didn't say what's running this.
I am hopeful though because he
We
is
took
running
two 3960Xs and we wired them together, and those with a Tri-SLI GTX Titan setup, we're getting a steady 30 frames per second. It's great, guys. You'll be able to run this on low-end hardware.
Yeah, I don't think there needs to be a lot of zombies. They could be actually probably be less than there already is. They just need to be dangerous.
No, I want more. Well, yeah, it's true if they make them really dangerous, but I want the ability to have like a horde, because when you're out in the wilderness...
No, that would be cool, yeah. But the best part is since people are going to be away from each other, you're only going to be a certain amount at a time. So hopefully when it's actually animating it, like, I guess, client side, hopefully it's not doing a lot of stuff when no one's around and seeing the zombies.
That's true.
I don't know how to explain that. Yeah, like I don't know how exactly it works, but hopefully it only starts processing it and doing all the work on your computer when you're actually like close and can see them. I don't know.
That would
make
understand
sense.
it. The server just knows like, hey, there's going to be this many zombies here, and they're like just kind of standing there when the player shows up, and they start like doing their shambling and wandering thing when you get close.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think that'd be
Speaking
exciting.
of the zombies, did you guys see the new pathfinding? That was really exciting.
It didn't make a ton of sense because he kept twitching the camera around. Like the old way, it made
Yes.
sense why that was bad. Like I totally understood that, but on the new one, I didn't really understand how much better it's going to be because he kept flipping the camera and it didn't really look to be a whole lot different. But he says it's way different, so I mean, I guess we'll just
Yeah.
wait to see it.
It looks like it just basically goes straight towards you, though.
Yes, the old system was using basically a remnant of the Arma 2 AI, where it was like following the path that you had taken, and it was also trying to flank you. So that's where all the zigzag and starting and stopping came from. Whereas now it's basically true zombie AI, where his priority is to get right to you, and he basically tries to draw a beeline to your back. And what that means is he can follow you a lot more tightly with less zigzagging and running around. And it actually looked pretty scary. Like the guy was right on him the whole time when he was showing the testing of the new AI system.
Yeah, I think it'll be more interesting to see how several of them do it
Yeah.
than just one. Because I hope
think-
they can kind of cut you off. Like if you're through a building, I don't know.
Well, zombies
Yeah,
generally
it'd be
just
interesting.
follow though. They don't do a lot of flanking.
Yeah,
That was the
yeah,
problem
they're not
with
really
AI.
slinkers.
Speaking from actual personal experience, Dave.
What?
You're like, zombies only follow you.
Oh,
You were like
I
out,
thought you were
out
speaking
there
from
in the
experience.
real place, like getting
According to my
chased by
scientific
zombies.
expertise on zombies, which totally exist.
No, that's
Anyway.
cool.
I think the thing I was most excited about was the new lighting. Actually seeing them run around in the world, like it actually it looked good. It reminded me a lot of Arma's 3's lighting,
Yeah,
and that
that's
made
true.
me excited just because it'll be more immersive, and I like immersion. Also,
Yeah.
for
Speaking of
immersiveness,
immersion,
go ahead. You
no,
can speak
you
about
first,
immersion.
sir.
The people vaulting the fences.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's
the jumping.
Yes, it looked like it was even a little bit slicker looking than Grand Theft Auto 4. I'm trying to think of other games that have you chasing, like running around on foot, hopping over stuff.
Mirror's
I think-
Edge, Battlefield 3.
In third person though.
Oh, okay.
Well, I guess Mirror's Edge doesn't really count though because that's all that game is about.
Yeah.
So it
It's
has to
finally
be able to do
tamed.
that. But and Battlefield 3 does a pretty good job. But yeah, this looked like they were actually vaulting over stuff, which could be cool. You'd have foot chases and things maybe. but-
You know the first video is gonna be out is gonna be totally forgot the word. That was,
Bunny
now I'm just
hopping?
ruining a joke. No. Parkour. There we go.
Parkour.
Parkour.
man. I wasted that joke.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
I
That,
was gonna
that one
say-
kind of fell flat.
Talking about the immersion, I'm not sure if you guys noticed in the background, but a lot of the world objects that we've been staring at for a year in the mod are totally revamped. Like the grocery store is all run down and like rusted, and the roof's collapsing. I love stuff like that. It just makes the world feel so different.
See, now I will tag on that because I appreciate that, but I remember Dave going, I hope this Zombieland is only like a few weeks after. Why would it be crushed, Dave? And why do you appreciate that now? Oh, now your true feelings are coming out.
I can do.
I want it more. I want it. Oh! Now it goes from a couple weeks to a year. That's a big difference. That's
Well,
now
I always said
Fallout
up to a
zone.
year for the apocalypse distance, but I felt like anything more than that, and it was going to be like, well, like you said, like Fallout. I don't want it to be like totally run down.
No, I want it to be totally run down.
See,
But I think the best part is the cars, being able to loot stuff in cars. That's pretty awesome. You can actually look inside the trunk and all that stuff.
As long as there's something in the
Loot.
cars other than dirt bike helmets and beans.
yeah.
in all seriousness, though, about the weathering and the age, I think there's a nice sweet spot where with just a little bit of weathering, it's like still kind of familiar, but like a little bit off. It feels like something has just gone horribly wrong recently. I think that'll work better for DayZ than if it were more like Fallout and the whole world is just like a total like society difference. Everything's
Right.
just totally destroyed.
Right.
That's just me, though.
Yeah,
Joel
it was,
likes
that
his
is just
Fallout.
you.
it was exciting. What other things did they demo?
There was a kind of hidden thing that was not mentioned in the video, but was shown that someone on Reddit actually pointed out, and I was excited to see this. Let me see if I can explain it correctly. Someone noticed that
Oh, you
can
gotta poop
actually...
out cans.
that was not that exciting, but yes.
That was pretty exciting.
You
Poop
leave
That's
That's
that
gonna be
confirmed.
hilarious.
Pooping confirmed in DayZ.
painful. You can holster weapons, apparently. Like, while keeping it as your primary. It has to do with that new hotbar system, and I'm probably not explaining it well and why that's actually exciting, but you can kind of like shoulder your rifle without actually putting it away, so you can take it on and off your shoulder. I guess pistols would work the same way too, where you like holster it.
Mm-hmm.
Dave's gonna get all annoyed if they don't have the correct like type of holstering. Like he's gonna put it inside his belt.
I would love if you used your like the back of your pants as a holster. You had like a 20% chance on holstering of like shooting yourself in the butt.
20%? How clumsy are you? Like 1/4%, maybe.
I don't know. I don't trust some of these civilians running around grabbing guns out of grocery stores.
Oh, yeah. I want to see them show off, well, I guess the gunplay. I wonder if it's going to feel any different.
I do love the new crosshairs. Oh, thank God. The old
I don't
crosshairs
remember
are
those.
so bad. Yeah, they just look more like more normal, standard first-person shooter ones.
Oh,
and it
okay.
actually reacts to it. It's those reticules that, like, actually, when you're running, they kind of expand a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Kind of like Battlefield.
Yeah, did look pretty good.
Yeah.
All right, well, we're supposed to get another blog post tomorrow, which we're filming this on the 14th, or recording on the 14th. So the 15th, I believe, we're due for another blog update. And, yeah, we'll see what happens.
He's supposed to talk about the health system. I'm really excited about that because of all the disease craziness. Like, blood bags were neat, but it was such a just kind of like placeholder, cheap, easy mechanic. Like, I want to see what we're going to get in standalone. I'm excited.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited too. I mean, now that they're showing like them running around in the game, I'm getting a lot more excited, because before, when they're just talking about we're redoing everything, here's a screenshot. Well, that's nice, but
Something I am really curious about, actually speaking about the health, I'm a little bit worried about actually is I think it's going to be fun to add those kind of various sources of like viruses, and I think that'll help cause you to go to certain places to get health packs or whatever medical supplies, so it'll force you to go on a certain mission where you weren't supposed to go, right? Mm-hmm. Or have other friends show up. But the only thing I can see that it could be quite annoying is if they keep on adding so many more realistic type of things, aspects to the game, where what's going to happen is you're going to log in, you're going to play, you get a virus, and it's like, I don't want to trek all the way over to this area where where there's medical supplies, so you're probably just going to kill your character and then just start over again. I have a feeling that actually is going to happen quite a bit if it's not done right, where it's more rewarding to get health and repaired, than it is just to be like, I'm just going to kill myself, suicide, start over, because it's like such a hassle to run all over someplace.
That may come down to play style, though. Like, some players are always going to choose the easy way out like that.
No. It's not all play style. It's imagine Battlefield, right? The little paddle. It's that's unrealistic. You just whack. It's like so quick. But
Magic electricity.
Well, imagine if they did that, but it takes 30 seconds. I guarantee no one's going to be doing it in the game. It just won't happen. You'll have certain people that might do it.
Not in Battlefield,
I know,
because that's so much more fast paced. But
it's the same. I'm just saying it's the same type of thing. If it's not really rewarding and it's like really fun to do it, and it makes the game more fun.
That's true. It has to add something.
It'll just become really tedious, I think.
Yeah, there's a fine line you have to walk. That's a good point. Like, you don't want it to be so realistic where you're like, this is like real life, but with more diseases. This is painful.
I think
just because. Oh, good.
I think the Elder Scrolls does a pretty good job. Like, if you contract vampirism or something. It doesn't. Like, there are advantages, which I doubt there's going to be advantages in DayZ if you get dysentery or something. But there are advantages in the Elder Scrolls of, say, being a vampire. But there are some disadvantages, so you can either adapt to playing with those disadvantages, or you can give up and go research the cure and figure out how to do that. So, I don't know what advantage you would possibly have from having a disease in DayZ, but if you can manage it, if it's not like, oh, I got a disease, we have to quit this raid to go get healed. If it's just like, well, I guess I got the craps for, I've got the runs for the next 24 hours.
It allows you to run faster to a bathroom. No, I think that will slowly come through probably several months of tweaking and stuff, where I bet there's going to be some stuff he's going to, put in the game standalone, and it's going to be like, this sucks. And it'll be gone after a week or after a couple weeks.
I think Rocket's not afraid to step back and say, okay, this was a cool idea, but it's not working. Like with how excited he was about the dogs last year, and then eventually he's like, this is just not that important right now.
And he may decide that like 16 diseases or 15 diseases is just too many, and maybe we only have like 3 diseases.
Yeah.
Or something. Or just disease. You've contracted disease.
I blame Joel, no matter what. It's probably Joel's fault.
You jerks. You know it'll be me running into the hospital to gather all this stuff for you, and then I'll die, and then you'll loot my body after everyone's dead.
Lately, it's been me running into hospitals and dying to get stuff.
That's true.
That's because Dave is a pansy, and he stays in the bushes.
Dave's not a
Where it's
pansy.
safe.
He's just the type of leader who encourages his men to go do it for him.
Look,
Although
I'm just
I've been
providing you guys with
volunteering lately.
glorious deaths, okay? You die with honor.
Yeah, I don't know. I felt like I just died by falling out of a helicopter, but whatever. All right, so you guys want to talk about our big topic this week?
What's our big topic this week?
Yeah, I don't remember.
What?
Oh, Arma 3, right?
No. Well, yeah, we should probably talk about Arma 3. I meant SimCity. But we can just briefly touch on Arma 3. The Arma 3 alpha is out. It looks pretty. It has a couple maps. We have died a lot. And
We've
what
crashed
else do you
a
guys
few
have to
Wasteland
say?
servers.
Yeah. Go watch videos on our channels. We'll be posting Wasteland stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, in
Or
case
not
you don't
Wasteland
know,
stuff,
you're
just
going to
Arma
want to
3
buy a
stuff.
brand new computer, possibly 3, and hook them up together so they can run the game.
Well, no, if you could run Arma 2, you'll be able to run Arma 3 just as slowly. Pretty much exactly as slowly as you were before.
But boy, does it look a lot better.
Yeah, it does look good. Nighttime is definitely a lot better because
You
Arma
can see.
2 at nighttime just falls apart. Like it just looks like a mushy mess. But
Yeah, it was like a weird gradient issue going on with nighttime
Yeah,
Arma 2. I'm not sure
it's-
what happened there.
it's not good. But Arma 3 is pretty good so far. You know, I still maintain that people give Arma a break because it's the PC, it's the hardcore PC simulation shooter. But it's got some pretty crappy design choices in it that wouldn't be tolerated in other games. Like if that inventory
Like
system,
the 50 different positions.
well, that's gotten a little bit better, but still kind of annoying. I know I was more talking like the inventory system. I know it's totally overhauled, but it still isn't that great. There's been plenty of times where like, okay, did I move it over? Where's this ammunition I'm picking up? Like, where is this ammo going? What's on my gun? Why can't I pick up this gun? How do I drop something into the box? Where is all of this ammunition going? So maybe a lot of that's just buggy, and it'll be sorted out by the time the final game comes out. But I'm still not.
Hopefully.
They should
I'm not
hire a
thrilled
bunch
about
of
that.
like optimizers and polishers to come
They
in.
they ought to hire the Call of Duty optimization guys
Heck
because for everything that game is, they're slick. Like everything has been polished to a sheen, partly because they're just releasing new updates to it instead of new games. But
well, they have like 50 billion for the development cycle
yeah.
because they make 150 trillion.
What do you watch your mouths, Rhino, in the chat? Who are you talking to?
Where do you see this chat?
I'm looking at the live video feed.
Oh,
The chat's over on the side. Rhino told us to watch you mouths. I'm asking him why. Anyway.
I just see
Yeah,
a blank
Arma 3.
chat. I don't know what I'm doing wrong here.
Are you watching the live feed?
I don't see where you see the chat. Yeah, I see the live, but I
I
don't
I
see
see
the chat.
I see chat, but it's just us.
Oh, not group chat. Not group chat on Hangout. The actual
okay.
on my channel. Here, go to the Casual Shenanigans Twitter. I posted a link.
Gotcha.
And retweet the link, Dave. Uh-huh.
You can't tell me what to do.
Fine. Anyway.
Throw it on the ground.
It's shenanigans or shenaniga?
The Twitter is Shenaniga. We should know this by now, guys. We look bad in front of the viewers.
Oh no.
Casual Shenaniga. Yeah, oh no, the viewers. All 3 of you. Hey, guys. Anyway. So yeah, Arma 3.
Spell shenanigans.
Arma 3, pretty fun so far. Do any of you guys have anything to say about Arma 3 other than we will be playing a lot of it and we'll be probably posting a lot of videos of it too?
No, I think it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be pretty awesome.
It's a totally unique experience.
So much better.
It is a unique experience. I'm actually interested in seeing if we can get into some like actual simulations. You know, people people playing by military rules, you know, like with actual leadership and hierarchy and stuff. I'd be interested in trying some of that.
Yeah, it looks like a lot of fun. It's just a huge time commitment, like a 4-hour block to like carefully plan and execute a mission.
Yeah. Games.
Joel's deep thought of the night.
Okay, so SimCity. SimCity is one of those old game franchises that everyone's played at one point or another, like Age of Empires. You played SimCity when you were a kid. You just did.
I grew up on SimCity.
It didn't matter like what computer you had. This is back when even pretty much any computer could run the games that were out to some extent, and SimCity was one of those. And I played SimCity 2000 and 3000. I don't think I played past that. But any of you guys play all the way up to SimCity 4?
I never played any of the SimCities actually.
Oh,
You had a terrible childhood. I'm sorry.
I played Roller Coaster Tycoon and a couple of those.
oh, me too.
The animal ones.
But
I
EA,
played through SimCity 3000, I believe.
in their decision to bring SimCity back, decided the best thing to do would be to install always-on DRM, which requires a constant internet connection. And somehow, even though people pre-ordered the game, pretty much everyone playing it the first day were people who pre-ordered it, I'm assuming. How did they not know? Okay, so if anyone who doesn't know, the servers pretty much crashed as soon as the game went live. People couldn't download it. People couldn't log in. People were stuck in like 12-hour queues. Some people got.
Do you have the game?
I don't.
Oh.
I've been reading nonstop about it and hearing from you guys. Yeah, I can't talk about gameplay. That's all up to you guys. But like getting into the game was a pretty miserable experience for a lot of people. And as it turns out, it appears that the only reason that was put in there was for a tiny gameplay feature where you can, play with people in other cities, like your cities can kind of interact. But the main reason is definitely to cut down on piracy. Would you guys agree?
Yeah, that's my guess. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say that the region gameplay is actually a pretty big part of the game, but the fact that there's no offline mode is just completely because of the online DRM.
And so people bought this $60, or if you got it for a deal for like $45,
Or 35 like Dave, because I'm a deal fiend.
But if you paid $60 for this resurrection of one of your like favorite childhood games, which you probably could play on any computer you ever owned, and then you can't play it for days because you can't connect to servers, like it doesn't even make sense. How did they not know that they were going to get crushed like this? Like when Battlefield 3 came out, another EA published title, the servers were shot down for the first day. Like you couldn't log into anything. Stuff was crashing right and left.
I'm not sure you can actually really prepare for something like this other than letting people coming in as a very small stream. Like,
when's the last time Call of Duty had this happen?
It happens every time. I mean, it happens for the first couple hours a day.
It's not nearly as bad, though.
But the thing is, they know the game is going to sell 10 times more than SimCity was.
SimCity was pre-ordered. They knew how SimCity was selling because they were selling it before it came out. Like, they had a pretty good idea of how many they sold. They were the only game in town selling them.
But they also didn't think they were going to be playing the game for 9 hours like some people we know.
Well, I don't know. I think it's inexcusable that they would compromise the gaming experience.
Okay, I will have to say it's inexcusable.
It's inexcususable.
How is it inexcusable?
Let me back up. They are making a product, and if people don't like it, they should vote with their dollars and not buy it. And like EA doesn't owe anybody anything, except for the people who already paid for the game under the impression that they were actually going to get to play it. Those are the people who should be upset.
Well, here's the little dumb thing, and this is where PC gamers are kind of retarded. And I said that on live. Sorry. I apologize.
Classic
no,
Joel.
I don't apologize. People who are going to buy this freaking game on PC, and it's a download, it's a digital download, it's not a 500 megabyte game, they know PCs. So why do they freaking bunch of babies whining about it's going to get hammered the first day? So just quit your whining.
It's not that it's going to get hammered, it's that the game didn't work. It's one thing like if you have to queue a little bit, but when you can't log into the game for hours and hours and hours, and I've read of plenty of people whose cities get lost. Like, it just forgets their cities, or they get locked into a region and they can't move out because the server won't log them in. Like, all kinds of crazy stuff. It's not that the servers got kind of hammered, it's that the whole system went down.
So, I mean, stuff like that's gonna happen.
Yes, it's going to happen, but
I want my game.
again, like this is kind of a first world problem,
okay,
but
it's human error. I mean, like, they probably had a zillion servers, but they didn't realize they needed 2 zillion.
I mean, is
that it? And they probably didn't have the budget to be able to go, hey, we need to
the
open
budget.
up.
It's EA.
It's EA. They're not going to spend any more money than they have to. That's how a game
Well,
works.
true.
I just read about the game Journey, right? The developers that made the game, after getting this big loan of money to make the game over 3 years, they're finally making money themselves because all the money's going back to pay the person who just gave them the loan. So the developers that worked on this are probably not getting the money. They only get a budget, and depending on, however the people forecast the game's going to sell well, they probably didn't think it was going to be that amazing. And I'm happy for them knowing that they are getting slammed, because that means they made a really good game and a lot of people want to play it. I think that's way more important than whining about, I wasn't able to play the first second.
No, it's good. It's good that they're like getting slammed with people wanting to play it. But the way I see it as an issue is this is really a single player game.
Not anymore, my friend.
This didn't have to happen. This happened because they decided to implement this DRM strategy that screws the consumers over, who may not have any interest in playing with friends. They might not even have friends on Origin. Like, that shouldn't be a requirement to play the game, is to have this internet connection, because it's really a single player game. And of course, EA said that no.
Well, did they say it was a single player game? Did they say that?
Well, hold on. It's a single player game you can play with other people, but like, it's designed so you can play by yourself with an always on internet connection. They said that they have to have the internet connection because a lot of the calculations have to be handled on the server end, because people's computers wouldn't be able to handle it.
It's
which we now know,
calculations of sharing.
as of today, that's a lie.
Yeah, that made me angry.
Well, we don't know. We don't know. That's still not completely. We don't know yet.
Did you read? But you read the story I'm talking about?
Yeah, no, I read the story.
For anybody who doesn't know what we're talking about,
we don't know. It's not completely official, is it yet, though?
It's not. Well, actually, I would say
somebody.
It is. I would say it is actually. And I'll explain why in a second. But a modder figured out a way to disable the internet connection and play indefinitely without connecting to the server. You only had to connect back to the server to save his town, which of course he would want to do.
Well, maybe they didn't say what.
The reason I think that's legitimate is because there were plenty of reports that came out after it saying EA patched it. Like, there was a patch that rolled out right after that. So if that wasn't true, why would they patch? Like, what would they have to patch?
Now my question is, what did they say they were calculating?
They're like, just, I think it's all the AI and stuff.
Did they actually say that though?
Yes.
Yeah.
EA said that repeatedly, and actually, I had been telling that to other people.
I would like to see links of that, because I have not seen the link of that.
Sure, that's easy to find.
They said, okay, I would like to actually see that, because I have a feeling they just said there's some calculations on the back end, but not exactly calculating all the sims. It probably just calculating what pollution is going over to your friend's place.
Let me see. Try to find.
I'm just thinking people whine a lot more about stuff that are.
No, they do. But hold on. I can read it. I'm trying to read what EA said, because the problem with it is that since all this other stuff is broken about it, it's hard to find the original when they've started making all these claims.
All right, so while you're Googling, maybe the guy who's actually pre-ordered the game should share his experiences.
Yes, sorry, go ahead, Dave. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to like monopolize it. Go ahead.
So I actually was one of the EA sheeple that pre-ordered the game. I actually got it on a deal from Amazon where I got like $25 back. So I got it for $35. And I was a huge like SimCity addict as a kid, so I couldn't stay away. I knew that this game was going to be enough to keep me, occupied and get my money's worth. But I actually got a box copy from Amazon, so I didn't actually get my box copy until I got home from work on Tuesday. So I missed all of the midnight attempts for everyone slamming the servers trying to get in. And by the time that I actually installed the game and joined that night, they already had a few more servers running, and I was in a server in about 10 minutes. Like, there were a few busy servers. I had to go to a European West server, but I really didn't have a whole lot of issues. And I know that my experience probably wasn't as common. Like, I probably got relatively lucky, but I was able to dive in pretty quickly, and it was just more of like a minor annoyance for me. What I am angry about though is, Joel, you were asking about like, did EA actually say, these simulations were like pushed out to the cloud? As they were getting up these main gameplay servers Wednesday, Thursday, Friday last week, there was a constant message being sent out that like, guys, we would have liked to have the offline mode, but there's just too much going on that we had to crowdsource a simulation. And the cloud servers aren't just for saving; it's like for the core functionality of the game. And what we've seen today is with this modder actually being able to go into the game and play it while completely offline. That none of that was true at all, and that makes me angry. That was just pure deception. And it could have been a miscommunication, but no one should have been saying that line over and over again without knowing that it was true.
Right, and
Yeah, I guess so.
You can pretty much tell the reason they did it. What was the last game to come out that used this DRM? What was the last one?
Was it Spore?
No. Since then.
I don't know.
Diablo 3. I was asking to set it up. Diablo 3 was the last game to come out with this. Diablo 3, you can't torrent it. It has not been cracked. You can't pirate the game. So that's probably all EA cares about. I'm not trying to jump on the EA hate train. I love a lot of EA's properties. Like EA is responsible for a lot of my childhood gaming memories, So I'm not just trying to randomly hate on EA, but I think this is why this happened. Was they saw that the game wasn't pirated, so they put the bottom line, according to the suits of the company, they put the bottom line over the consumer experience, and because of that, they may have irreparably tainted the image of this game, because it doesn't matter how awesome the game is after this, and I plan on buying it when it goes on sale, and I want to play it. Like, don't get me wrong, the gameplay looks really fun, but it's always going to be remembered, I think, as the SimCity that had that absolutely terrible launch.
And on that note, if I could just interject real quick,
yeah,
that's
absolutely.
actually what makes me really sad about this, is because, I'm gonna make fun of Yakko here just a little bit. He's got 77 hours into this game since Tuesday with all the connection issues and everything else. I had a day off last week, so I'm at 43 hours, I think. The core game is amazing. Like the day I had off, all I did was play SimCity. It does have a few pathfinding and AI bugs that hopefully we'll see a patch soon.
That's early game stuff that gets patched anyway, so that's not an issue.
It's one of those things that...
Yeah, so tell us about the gameplay. I've talked enough.
The only real problem I have with the gameplay is the limited city size, and that may actually be a limitation of that full-on simulation of The Sims, and hopefully we'll see some patches in the future. There's been some talk already about EA increasing city size. Outside of that, though, man, it feels like you're just given this totally detailed... I keep calling it a model train set. You can zoom right in and see everything, and I got bored with doing the grid cities pretty quickly, and so now I try to design a city that actually looks natural and authentic, and try to get it to work with the terrain and with the industry and the resources that are in that particular city plot. I think I've done probably 11 or 12 cities now. Not all of them, totally all the way up, but it's so much fun. It's unbelievable. And outside of the online always requirement, the actual features of the online regional gameplay are amazing. My city was a tourism city. There was some sort of issue where my tourism dropped. So I was actually losing money all of a sudden. And I was playing with Yakko, in his region. He's like, oh, you need some money. I've got this big industry going. I'm mining ore and coal and smelting it into alloy. And I have a CPU factory going. And now I'm making TVs and computers. So he was making 1 million simoleons a day. He's like, oh, I'll send you 1 million simoleons over to help your city out. So when he sent it to me over the regional communication thing, my actual mayor actually got into my little white limo at my city hall and drove across the interstate to his city, went to his city hall, then they drove to the bank, picked up the money, and drove it back to my city. It was so awesome. Just the interactivity is really, really cool.
Yeah, and that's I watched your first SimCity video. Are more of those coming soon?
Yes, I actually have a custom build coming where everyone voted on what they wanted me to build, and I'm gonna start working on that probably tomorrow night.
Okay, cool. Because I'm actually really excited to watch more. And if I'm going to watch more, I might as well watch someone I know building a city.
Aw.
But yeah, like it looks really fun. I really want to play it, but I'm definitely going to wait until the server issues are a thing of the past. Like I would have no problem waiting 3 or 4 months. But at that point, you guys probably won't be playing anymore.
I just bought the game for my wife, and we haven't had one problem at all.
They've gotten they scrambled to get a bunch of servers online.
Yeah, it's actually hilarious. On launch day, I think it was 5 servers at midnight. If you look now, there's like something like 28 servers available to pick from. It's insane.
Which is not saying like they should have known they needed 28, but like they should have known if they needed 25. Like
the second beta test that they had last month, the server was down for almost 24 hours of the 48 hours of the test. That should have been a heads up, I think.
The issue, I guess, the other issue I have is there's 2 ways to combat piracy. You make something super awesome that people really want to pay for and will happily pay you for, a DRM-free version. And then you just hope that enough people buy it that piracy doesn't put a too big a dent in it. And that's what like the Elder Scrolls does and the Witcher devs do. And like their games sell like crazy because they're putting out a truly excellent product. Then you have services like Steam, which they have not always on DRM because you can go into offline mode, but they have plenty of games like once you buy them through Steam, they're stuck in Steam. Like that is a form of DRM. But their service works like all the time. You pretty much never have Steam outages and stuff.
That's true.
And granted, they had some problems when Steam was brand new, but Origin isn't brand new anymore. Like Origin is, I think at this point, a pretty established service. It's been like 18 months.
Yeah.
So, it's not like EA is a small company either. Like it's 18 months with one of the biggest software publishers there is. They should have been able to handle this by now, especially after the Battlefield 3 launch. So then the other method is punishing the paying consumers for what the non-paying consumers do. Like the original Mass Effect is an example that really irritates me. Maximum of 3 installations per key.
That was the worst.
So I change out parts enough. I moved to other computers. I loaned it to Chris. I ran through my installations. So I'm not ashamed to say I downloaded a cracked copy of the game. Dave, who are you waving at, Joel?
I just want to interject.
Oh, sure.
On
you
Xbox,
can just talk. You don't have to just.
It never crashed, so I only had to install it once. Just saying. And I can reinstall as many times as I want.
You had one of the like 11% of Xboxes who didn't Red Ring.
Yeah. Yeah, but I could reinstall and play it again within seconds. So
Joel, what you're saying is
I reinstall Windows.
You didn't have to reinstall your games because you couldn't upgrade your Xbox. Is that what you're saying?
No, I didn't say Windows crash.
Upgrade if
I
it's
didn't say
working
Windows
just fine?
crash. Like I would uninstall Mass Effect, like to play something else, like you've done with DayZ 5 or 6 times, and then I would reinstall later. I didn't. My computer never crashed. Got rid of Mass Effect. I just I changed out a motherboard and had to reinstall Windows because of that. Like normal stuff, stuff that I chose to do.
That makes me think about registering Windows XP. The amount of times Windows XP was I think my first computer that I built.
Yeah.
I would reformat that thing literally every day because I didn't know how to keep viruses away. I didn't know much about computers. I did it all myself. And that was kind of before my parents had internet at the house. So I had to just kind of learn from going over to my friend's house at any time, and downloading PDFs.
Yeah.
But anyways, the best part was, you'd reinstall it. And after about 4 times, I think you'd install it, you could call and get the key. But then after that, you'd have to talk with some and it's always funny because we would be sitting downstairs. Everyone has laptops with the same Windows XP disk on it, And the guy's like, how many computers do you have it on? I'm like, just one. Like, well, here is your key. And then they would say it out for forever. And I'd be like, what if I had it on multiple computers? He's like, oh, who cares? And then he's like, here's your key. It's like, thank you, friend.
But like the thing I don't like about that DRM, which I don't think anyone should like about that DRM, is really the only people who are suffering are the people who paid for the game. Like it's treating paying customers like criminals. Because like every time they've come up with DRM up until now, people crack it. Like Assassin's Creed 2 was supposed to have uncrackable DRM. It took like 3 days and it was online. Up until now, I'm worried now because it seems like they've come up with a system that actually is uncrackable. And I'm worried because if this launch is anything to go by, many more games are going to start doing this. And the consumers are just going to become worse and worse off when they buy a new game. And it's an issue, Joel. Yes, people can be a little whiny if their game doesn't work for the first couple minutes. I'm not just talking about that, but if they bought a service and the service doesn't work, then they should, like, that is a legitimate complaint. Not the service is experiencing temporary issues, but the service has fundamental design flaws that are systematically ruining the gaming experience for the vast majority of the people playing it. Like, that's the issue. So
yeah, I guess I don't know. I'm the kind of person that, let's say if I want to go see a midnight release of a movie, and the projector has problems. I mean, people will go and say, "Hey, is it going to work?" If they're absolute jerks to us, then I'm really pissed. But I mean, if they can't get anything to work and for some reason it crashed, and they give us our money back and say, "Hey, sorry about that," or they say it's going to be a 30-minute delay, okay, I'm fine.
Right? Yeah, I don't mind about
I
that.
just don't. I hate when they whine continually. It's like.
But if the theater said, "Nope, it's fine. Just sit down. It's fine. It works. Don't worry about it."
Did they say it's fine?
They said, "We
I don't think
noticed
they were
some
being
people
jerks.
are experiencing issues, and we're working hard on them."
And I think it was some people. I don't think it was as much as people say it was.
It was pretty bad, Joel.
It wasn't.
I mean, Dave
good.
had to wait how many minutes? Maybe 15 minutes to get in the game?
I was definitely the exception, and I was actually really
I don't
worried.
know. I mean, you don't know. Do you know anybody else personally that had the problem? So.
I
don't know.
Tuesday night,
Because
actually,
the
while I was
internet
playing,
is full of crap too. So
No, that's true.
One
That's
person,
true.
one person who has a problem, and then like 3 people have the problem,
True.
and then it's like 80 people all of a sudden. But
But as
magically
an example,
80.
Joel, that first Tuesday while I was playing, Edgar got home after I did, and his game like showed up late from UPS, so he was like installing it while I was playing. It took him almost 40 minutes to get in, whereas it took me 10 minutes. And he was so frustrated. Like, I'm talking about, oh, this is so awesome. Yeah, get in here. He's like, I'm trying. Like, so close.
Now, think about it this way. Okay, so that modder figured out a way that you could stay offline and then only reconnect to save your game. So that's pretty much just a cloud save at that point. Like, it's a mandatory cloud save. I'd be more fine with that. Like, that'd be no big deal. Because then all you have to do is connect to a server, like, maybe it connects every 10 minutes just to send a little blip through. Just a little, like, I don't know, 5 megabyte file. How big would the save file be? But, like, what would you think about that? Because then you can play offline, or the option to switch it to offline mode where it only reconnects to save your games. You can play offline as much as you want, but to save the game, you do have to go online. Because then you can really do whatever
basically
you
do the
want.
cloud save, kind of like what Steam does.
Yeah, it'd be just a mandatory cloud save. That way,
I don't know if that would
way,
affect if I wanted to visit your town.
No,
I guess it would just have the latest save.
You could have the option of, like, to visit someone else's town, you would have to switch it to live.
Yeah.
But you could play offline if you wanted to. So the other person's city would just update as their save files uploaded every half hour or so. Because then, even if the game was torrented, that's pretty much just a demo. People can play it, but they can't save their city. So I have to feel like that would almost even help them more, because people will play it, really get addicted to it, as it seems like a lot of people are, and then be more motivated to pay for it because of that crucial final feature. Whereas now, it's just the people who legitimately paid for it, even if they have no interest in going online and playing with other people, they have to, and they have no choice. And if that doesn't work, then they're screwed. And it seems like they're pretty much getting the server issues ironed out now, so it hopefully won't be a problem from now on, except for the people whose internet connections are unreliable or drop out, or who want to play it, while they're traveling or something like that. They're still out of luck, but they hopefully know that going into it. But I don't know. It just is dumb. This was dumb. This whole thing was dumb.
And I really feel sad for Maxis too.
Yes.
They made a choice to make all this region stuff a big part of the game, and it's cool when it works, but they kind of dropped the ball. But the core game is so good, and they worked so hard on it. This is the first SimCity in 10 years. It's really a shame to see these reviews come out, which I really can't argue with. PC Gamer gave it a 66, and I'm like, man, given how the game was last week, I kind of see that.
You have to review it as it is. You can revise the score later, but you've got to review what people are actually doing. And
It's like a 92 game with a giant anchor attached to it.
there have been a couple supposedly leaked statements from Maxis employees saying the always online thing was not necessary and the servers aren't doing much. Like, all they're doing is handling requests. They don't need to be processing everything. I wonder if Maxis was saying, guys, we really don't need this, and EA was saying, well, our board of investors wants us to stop piracy on this title, so we're doing it. How the publisher has a lot of control over stuff like that. because it's their bottom line. So I wonder
Yeah.
if Maxis maybe came up with this idea of. I wouldn't be surprised if Maxis came up with the idea of region play, and then EA was like, "What if it was region play all the time and you couldn't turn it off?"
Definitely a possibility.
That seems like an EA move. Again, I'm not trying to hop on the EA hate train. There's plenty of their stuff I love, but it seems like something EA would do.
Yeah, it's hard to say, but like you said, I could see it being something that EA would do. Yeah.
So anyway, I think we've beat that horse for a while. We'll check in again next week. I mean, SimCity looks really fun. I'm looking forward to playing it. I don't want anything we've said to sound like, we're just throwing stones for no reason. But yeah, anyway.
I think it's the same thing, like how I feel about some of the flaws in Battlefield 3, where it's like, oh, this is so good. It's like it's so close to being just almost perfect. Like it makes the flaws hurt that much more when they drag a really good product down.
Well, and I think it's gonna hurt us more in the long run, because as much complaining and whining as there has been on the internet, and legitimate complaining and then illegitimate whining and just people belly aching, the game has obviously sold really well.
Yeah.
And when it comes time to make SimCity 2 or SimCity 6, if they decide to add the numbers back in, are they going to look at the user experience of the first couple of weeks when people were really upset, or are they going to look at how many they sold? Because there are plenty of people who got really upset and then went and spent their money anyway and bought the game. Like do you remember when Modern Warfare 2 was coming out and they announced that they wouldn't have dedicated servers on the PC, like no private hostable servers?
Yeah.
And people got so angry, and they were like, there's a famous picture online of a Steam group called Boycott Modern Warfare 2, and there's a screen cap taken like 5 hours after the game comes out, and literally 3/4 of that Steam group is in playing Modern Warfare 2. So if people complain and then don't vote with their dollars, if they complain with their mouths and then their wallet says, but I'm going to give you the full price anyway because I want to play it, that only sends a message to EA that this is okay. Like, we'll complain, but you can do this to us next time, and we can put up with this next time because we want to play the game. And really, EA should be getting the message of, can you please come up with a way to do DRM that doesn't screw all of your paying consumers? That'd be nice.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. Anyway, all right, moving on. Now is the time of the part of the podcast where Joel talks about something for 90 seconds. This part of the podcast is called 90 Seconds with Joel, or Joel's 90 Seconds. So, Joel, do you have something for us this week?
Gosh, today, I don't know. I have so much hate for the internet.
Internet hate.
Yeah, internet hate. All you young folks, and by young I mean like 40 and lower, because I don't care how old you are, you're still young.
I have no idea where this is going.
I have nothing today. Nothing. I have absolutely nothing. My wife is actually playing SimCity right now, and it keeps distracting me.
I kind of felt like you had nothing, but I was just going to see if you were going to. Well, why don't you talk about that thing I showed you on Reddit, like right before the podcast started?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah. How could you forget about that, Joel?
Because my friend was sending me jokes, and I kept laughing.
Thank you for giving this podcast your undivided attention.
I wasn't laughing at you guys. I was laughing at him. I was trying not to make myself look like a fool, but that didn't work. Okay, so apparently there's a link from somebody who works at GameStop somewhere. That's who knows, and it shows basically a list of released games that are going to be released by the end of this year. And on that is Half-Life 2 Episode 3. So, and a whole bunch of others. But
I want to believe.
I know. This year could be the year. I'm very, very excited about it.
See, I'll know when Half-Life 3 is like officially announced with a release date, because Joel's going to show up at my house with like a briefcase full of cash. He's going to shove it at me and just say, "Build me a computer. It's time for Half-Life 3." That's when I'll know that it's coming out.
It seems like a possibility. Yeah, I'm. If it's true, I'm excited. This does seem like, for many reasons, this seems like this could be the year of Half-Life 3 or Episode 3, just because Valve has confirmed they're working on a Source Engine 2. They haven't told you what game they're going to demo it or they're going to debut it with, but the last time they debuted a Source Engine, it was with Half-Life 2. So, new consoles coming out, like they've got that next bump in the graphics that they can take advantage of. This, like a lot of things are lining up, this could be the year, or it can never come out. But this could be the year.
I'm just imagining Half-Life 3 announcement, Fallout 4 announcement, and co-op announcement for Fallout 4, and then I'll be the happiest person ever. I literally will have a face like this.
That was unexpected.
Yeah, it could be really good. We will see. That's the biggest thing in all of these games we're excited about is, let's see. We could be sitting here a year from now going, hey, remember when we were all excited about DayZ?
Me and my friend, every year, I'm always like, Half-Life 3, it could be this year. I've been saying that for the last 3 years. I've literally, because I think it could have been the last couple of years.
Oh, yeah, definitely. It felt like
I was just like, why? Come on. Every year, he loves seeing my face because we watch the Xbox E3 and it's like, are they going to say anything?
If they debuted
like,
during the
no.
Xbox press conference, I would be mad.
They don't really have a, how are they going to...
That's probably, they'll have to tip their hat because they'll have to throw their own press conference.
Yeah, and the last time they did that was 2004, so... I think it'd be awesome if he just came up and displayed it. I don't care where he displays it. I just want him to come up on stage and be like...
It'd be cool if they threw like a press conference to talk about the Steam box to show off their actual hardware.
That would be really cool.
And Gabe could say right at the end, oh, and as a demo showing the Steam box, let's look at Half-Life 3! And then like fireworks, pyro goes off all over the place.
The flames shoot up from the stage.
Flashbangs go off. They'll cut to the audience. People are crying and falling on the floor.
Everyone's like hugging each other. Cancer is cured.
Old people are waving and saying, I can go home now.
Korea decides to not bomb us with nukes.
Well, all right.
Speaking of upcoming games, I finally broke today after like holding out for like months and months, and I pre-ordered BioShock Infinite. I just couldn't hold out any longer. I almost made it to the release date. I was like, I'm gonna wait for a sale. Nope, pre-order.
I'm excited about it, but I've got so much to play right now. I'm just gonna wait until it hits a sale. It'll be $20 on Steam within a year. I'll grab it then.
The only reason I
went gonna wait a freaking year to play BioShock Infinite.
I waited a year to play Skyrim. I only say that because I've got so many. It's not
but
like
Skyrim doesn't have like an amazing twist.
Well, Joel, it's not like
story.
let me just tell you why. It's not that it's not like I'll just wait a year to play it. Before I play that, listen to what I have to play. I have finished Borderlands 2, Batman. Oh, excuse me.
Oh, there's another one to add to my list.
Arkham City,
Arkham
I bought that
Asylum,
like 2 months ago. I haven't played it yet.
Hitman Absolution.
Yes.
Sleeping Dogs.
Yes.
And finishing Skyrim. Civilization 5. I want to play Knights of the Old Republic. Like, with those, and Arma 3 and DayZ. And possibly Battlefield 4. Like, I'm not going to get through all those in the next year. There's no way. Like, I spend most of my time with Battlefield, Arma, and DayZ. That's where I spend most of my time. So I know that I'm not going to make through all these games. Instead of buying BioShock for $60 now, I'll just wait until I'm out of other games I want to play at the moment, or it hits like a really awesome sale, and I'll just pick it up then.
I wish I could do that, but for me, I have to be like, as soon as a game I really want to play, it's like, sorry, other ones go on the shelf. It's that all straight through. I don't play any other game. It's done, and then I'm like, okay, I can come back to other games.
There are certain games that are like that. Far Cry 3 was like that. Battlefield 3 was like that.
I just don't know how Infinite is not going to be like that for you.
Well, because I liked BioShock, but BioShock didn't blow me away.
Okay.
Hold on. I really enjoyed it. BioShock is probably on my top 20. But it's, for me, like, when I hear people talk about BioShock, that's what Half-Life 2 is for me. Like, that's my
Half-Life 2 and BioShock are up there for me, so.
Okay, yeah, for me, it's Half-Life 2, like, all the way. Like, when Half-Life 3 comes out, I don't care if we have a podcast scheduled. I don't care if DayZ's out. I don't care if I'm sick. I don't care if I'm unemployed. I'm playing and beating Half-Life 3 as soon as
that'll definitely be
possible.
a midnight launch. That'll definitely be a midnight launch.
We could stay on TeamSpeak with each other, Joel. We'll play through it together. You and me.
Oh, heck
Let's
no.
do it.
I will talk with nobody. I will know in my heart that you're playing, but heck no. It's just going to be me, my computer. Wait, that sounds so bad.
I'm going to hang curtains up in my camper. Break out the citronella candles.
I was showing Dave earlier today that I was trying to come up with a list. I'm trying to come up with my top 25 games because now after playing more and more games, I feel that are in the ranks of like Half-Life 2, like, you know, that ish.
Right.
A top 10 is too small for it now. So I've been trying to put like top 25 games that I would really recommend to people if they want to get into a really good game. And then I put a list of the games I'm currently playing right now, and I'm like, holy crap. These are the ones I'm trying to go through right now. I'm trying to go through Metal Gear Solid 2, Kingdoms of Amalur. That game is ridiculously fun and so addicting, and it's like 80 bazillion hours. Playing Bioshock 1 and 2 right now because I want to play through it before Infinite. Not that they connect, who knows, but just I never finished 2, so I really wanted to go back and try it. I'm still playing Skyrim because I have the DLC of Dragonborn and I want to finish it at some point. Playing Battlefield 3 a bit. I'm playing through Doom.
MLG.
Yeah. Sure. Oh yeah, I'm going MLG. Wait. I have some for that. Wait. You guys can see my awesome tips if you go on my video. You just go into my YouTube channel. I'm showing off some pro tips for you guys. Anyways, and I'm also playing Tomb Raider. I'm playing through the Walking Dead Telltale game. I think it's by Telltale.
Yeah.
I'm playing through Knights of the Old Republic Sith Lords. That game is amazing. And I'm playing through Borderlands 2. I think that's all I'm playing, right? Yeah, but as of right now, I'm like really hardcoring through Bioshock 1 and 2 because
you're hardcoring through it.
Hardcoring through it. So, but this time, Dave and my friend James will be really proud. I'm looting everything this time.
Good man.
Everything.
Well, and then on top of that, Joel, you're filming a movie.
And I'm playing A Link to the Past. I'm playing Zelda: A Link to the Past.
It's like some random.
And you're filming a movie.
Oh yeah, and I'm filming a movie. And I work 40 hours a week.
Yeah, because like we have full-time. It's not like, oh, what do I do with all my gaming time? We all have full-time jobs, and then like Dave and I work on our gaming channels. I don't know how many hours you spend a week, Dave, but I'm guessing I probably spend an easy 20, 25 hours a week.
And we all have families for now, at least.
Yeah, we're all married. Because Chris isn't here, we can say that. Haha, single guy.
Oh, low blow.
Someone else might be single if they keep playing SimCity for longer periods of time.
Yeah, and I've got but then like on top of that, like with Joel's got his movie, wedding season's about to start for me. Saturday is my first wedding of the season.
Oh,
and
wow.
like
In March?
Yeah. So who knows, like my gaming time is going to start getting less and less, and when DayZ comes out, that is like my number one priority. If I only put out one video a week on my channel, it'll be DayZ.
And see, the problem with DayZ too is you're basically like playing an alternate life. Like you get into it and you have to survive and you build a camp and you scavenge for supplies. Like it's like role playing, but in real time, multiplayer. It's
definitely an alternate life because we know Dave does not run that much.
What does that mean? I have no idea what that means.
Dave stays in the shadows of his cubicle in his house.
You do seem like the stereotypical skinny white kid, Dave. No offense.
We love you, Dave.
I go outside to shoot my real guns. That counts.
That counts.
I keep joking around that my exercise plan for the summer is to go ahead and tote that stupid shotgun around, like just cover it in extra shells and just tote it around to shoot it.
Just wear a backpack and wear all the items you actually get in DayZ in real life. Just sit there and just sweat it out.
I should get slings for all of my rifles and shotguns and just like wear them all at the same time. Like go out to shoot while wearing all the guns. And then I break my back.
But yeah, so it's not like we have unlimited gaming time to just play. Like that's not what our life is like, and I don't think any of us are complaining. Like we have jobs that are in our desired field. We have families. We have lives. Like we're not. Gaming is not. Well, I guess I can only speak for myself, but I'm assuming you guys seem pretty decent. Gaming is not like my be all to end all. Like gaming is something I do for fun, but I've got a huge list of priorities that come before it that are honestly more important.
That's actually an interesting question. If we still have enough time, Why do you game?
Why do I game?
Why really down to the root essence? Why do you game? And why do you want to game? Like it's funny because there's a lot of people that I know a friend from work that just doesn't like games and just can't get into it at all. Well, and for me, that's hard to grasp because for me, the reason why I like games so much is because they're much more involving than a movie. Especially, there's some games that are too long for me that I don't play. But for me, a game like Bioshock is worth 10 movies that are decent.
Do you mind if I answer first, real quick? Because I'm just going to agree with Joel, if you don't mind. That's basically it for me too. Is I don't really enjoy TV. Like I watch a couple shows, but for the most part, I really prefer games. I don't watch TV except for a couple series.
Yeah, same here. James just wrote and he says, because my friends run out of loot to take. That's why he plays games. He'd be a
handle his loot habit.
Yeah, his loot habit.
I have to answer it. I have to answer it two different ways. We're getting real here. Why did I used to play games? I used to play games because I like that was my free time when I wasn't working or whatever. You know, this is when I still lived at home, when I was still in high school, everything like that. Like that was my escape. That was what I did, you know, when I didn't have anything else to do. And I had plenty of stuff to do. Like I was in at one point 3 different bands. I worked like almost full time. Like I had tons to do, but when I wasn't doing that, I played games just because I was all offline. I didn't have fast internet at my house. And that's just what I did to enjoy myself. Like that's what I did for fun. And now, and through college, that was the reason I did it too, was I started playing online with other people. So I played to, you know, play with friends online, and then just still I played a ton of single player games just because I had more free time. Now, honestly, the biggest reason I play games is to hang out with you guys. Like that's, if you guys stop playing games, and you guys, I'm like all of We Are the Rivals, you know, the whole crew. I have this on my thumb.
It's We Are the Rival, by the way.
We Are the Rival, whatever. Like if you guys stopped playing games, I don't know how much I would play anymore, because that's half the fun of it, is hopping online with you guys and hanging out. At least for me, there's no pressure to reciprocate. I'm just putting my feelings out there.
No, I agree. I think if you were just a gamer and you played only single player games, and you didn't have other people, or even if you just didn't have other people that played games, even if it was just single player, I think it would be hard to actually keep playing it, because
you have a smaller selection, like a much smaller selection.
Yeah.
Well, because even watching a show is like Walking Dead. I think half the fun is like going, "Hey Dave, what'd you think of the last episode? It was so amazing," you know, or you know, knowing someone's going through Fallout and, you know, different missions they do or what choices they make. That's what's really fun to me, you know.
Yeah.
Actually, you know, it's funny, Jeremiah, you should mention that. I got a really cool comment from Steven on my Facebook page. Hopefully he'll make it through this giant podcast and hear the comment. But he was basically saying, you know, oh man, I wish I had like a group of friends like you do to, you know, hang out and play games with. And I think we have a really awesome group of guys that you share the crazy experiences like in DayZ and Battlefield with. Like that's pretty unique to see.
We do. We have a good crowd because we all get along. Like I don't think we've ever been mad at each other.
Only briefly. Joel, I'll never forget you crashing my car, okay? I'm going to be bitter forever.
I've played plenty of games with other people where I got mad because they were just incompetent and idiots and, you know, not respectful and everything like that. But like you guys, you're a good crowd. Like we do have a good group of guys.
Stop making me feel all warm and fuzzy.
Let's all just keep patting each other on the back here.
No, seriously, like you guys, like We Are the Rival. Like you guys are my friends. Like I all my friends moved out of this small town I grew up in. You know,
I'm glad you think that, Jeremiah.
I've got a couple that still live here, but you know, we're not really as good friends anymore because I went off to college and see them for a couple years, stuff like that. So like, really, I mean, you guys are the friends I spend the most time with. So
that's what's so cool about the internet too, is, you know, a bunch of us met up at you know, going to school together, and we've been able to stay in contact, and now we game together.
Yeah, and like Joel, I never met you while I was in school, which is a shame because just being in your presence is just like a warm beam of sunlight hitting me in the heart.
That's what your mom says. Yeah, it's your fault for setting that up.
That takes the crown of the night, I think.
My mom carries a gun; she will shoot you. Anyway, but you know, Chris and I bonded with Dave over our mutual disdain of all the Macs in our graphic design classes. I think is that how we met each other, Dave? Like,
yeah, and I feel so foolish now. Like looking back on that, like, oh, that was a little much.
It was a little immature, but basically, like, we looked around when people were talking about Macs, and Dave was the only other person snickering. So we scooted our chairs over, and we've been friends ever since.
It was funny to like be in a room full of like these like learning graphic designers who are like worshiping their Apple logos. It was just weird. It was like a cult.
Yeah.
It's funny. I'm not actually really sure how I actually became friends with you guys, or you let me into your realm, because I have 2 consoles. I'm always ripping
Joel,
on PCs.
Joel, I've had like every major console for the last 10 years. Stop doing the console thing.
Yes,
I
you
prefer
don't.
the PC.
You
I'm
rip
the
on
odd man
consoles.
out.
I don't.
Yeah, Dave's and Chris is the odd man out.
I love
maybe
Macs.
this.
I have Macs. I'm always telling people to buy Macs instead of PCs.
Because you're a bad person.
I really shouldn't be allowed in this podcast.
No,
But I think
no.
I'm the only
Hey,
entertaining one
Macs,
in this podcast.
Macs
so that's
are a
probably
different
why
type
you
of
need me.
PC. Macs are a computer. You can play games on them. They're a nice computer.
True.
I mean, they are. It's just as legitimate. If you want to handicap yourself by
James-
buying
James-
a little thin aluminum wafer that can play 5-year-old games decently well, then I applaud you for
You're
it.
paying for the body of it, the whole look, the whole
And the
experience.
name.
I know it's slower than other laptops, but it also, when you close the laptop and lift it up, it turns on like that. I don't know any Windows that can do that. Sorry.
Yeah, there's plenty of them that do.
Show me a laptop that can close, go to sleep mode, open it up, and be back on literally like that.
Pretty
I've
much
never
everything
seen
with
one.
a solid state hard drive.
I still haven't seen one. Pcore has one. It doesn't boot up fast. Sorry. And I like the whole built-in webcam and stuff.
Okay,
And I-
like $200 Walmart laptops have built-in webcams, Joel.
But the whole system, it works so well.
Why are we talking about Macs?
Because
The
you brought it
OS
up.
works. The OS works really well.
The OS,
I've been using PCs forever. I edit on them. I would never want to do gaming on a Mac because it has a slower, boggy down system for that. But I'm saying
The
Macs for
operating
Photoshop
systems-
and just overall experience.
I maintain that
nice
if you're a real
experience.
power user, the Mac operating system will not support you. Like I'm very familiar with Macs.
exactly.
It's not just being familiar with the system. I'm very, very familiar with Macs, and I can't go above a certain amount of productivity because the operating system just won't support that many windows, like snapping between windows fast enough, and a whole bunch of other things. Like it's designed for people who are doing medium work very fast. Like Macs are really good for that.
It's just smooth. It has a steady frame rate, if that's what I would say. Like, it doesn't go up. It doesn't amaze you like crazy, but it's great because you're gonna turn it on and it's gonna work. It's not gonna be like, blue screen this time. I've had my MacBook Air for 3 years now, and I've not had it crash once. Not once.
All right, now to be fair, when you talk about blue screens all the time, you're really referencing the era of XP, like XP and Vista to an extent. Like Windows 7 is ridiculously stable. The only times
it is. No, I agree.
the only times I've ever had a blue screen on Windows 7 are when I was overclocking, and I was looking for blue screens. Like I would overclock till it blue screen, then I would work down from there. But I've never had Windows 7 just lock on me without an actual something being wrong. Now, when XP came out, XP crashed all the time. The whole "do you want to send this error report? Do not send" thing.
Until Service Pack 2, I'd say.
Yeah, it did it constantly. XP crashed all the time, but you can still install XP on a new computer you've built today, or you can take an old Windows XP computer and you could probably get Windows 7 running on it. Did I tell you about the Mac? If you've looked at any of my old videos, Joel, there's a video of me shooting a Mac full of holes with a shotgun. I used to work for a nonprofit, and people donated computers to us all the time. It was more like, and printers. Everyone's like, I've got a $30 printer that's 5 years old and I don't want any more. I bet you guys could use it. So we had a warehouse full of a lot of good stuff we could sell and a lot of junk. And I
That
was
one
looking through the
person
warehouse
that gave
one
you
day.
that Mac is watching this video right now. It's like,
Possibly. Well, they don't know who I worked for. I'm not going to say it. But I found this Mac Pro, I guess, or G5. I think it's a G5 from the early 2000s, like 2002. So XP was pretty new. Like it was right from that era. That operating system is so much worse than Windows XP. I couldn't upgrade it. I couldn't get a modern web browser on it. I couldn't upgrade it to a newer version of the operating system because the processor was too old. Like it just flat out didn't support it. It wasn't too slow. It just was too old. It would not support it. I couldn't upgrade iTunes.
well, I mean, we're talking about an old 2002 Mac.
But you can take a
I would say the OS
2002
experience is
PC.
not great until
You can take a 2002 PC and you can run XP on it. You can run a modern web browser. You can run a modern versions of iTunes. You can play most of your games on it, providing the computer was fast enough. I'm saying.
Okay, what do you define a power user? Because how do you define that? What do you really need extra than
Not
my Mac
Joel.
is?
I would
Because
define
I
a
bet
power
my
user-
MacBook
okay.
Air could do almost everything your computer needs to do for what you do, I think.
I would say absolutely not, and I will tell you why.
I
I
edit
define
in
a power
HD on
user.
it.
What I do at work on my 2500K, like Intel i5 2500K, 16 gigs of memory, SSD, and like
16
a GeForce.
gigs of memory? What do you use that
Yeah,
for?
dude. Just wait. I'm going to tell you.
Load your operating system on the RAM?
I have 16 gigs at home too. It's awesome. I'll just show you how many things you can open with 16 gigs of RAM. You can open anything. Anyway,
Facebook,
so what I do with that is
Farmville.
I queue up at work. I'll queue up like 4 or 5 hours worth of video and start it rendering on Premiere. Then I'll open up Vegas, start a different video thing, get it rendering. Then I'll open up Photoshop and be tossing around like 1 to 2 gig files, making edits on them. And I'll be running Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign, Chrome, Firefox, each with like 20 tabs, Internet Explorer, while I'm doing 2 simultaneous programs doing video renders, and the computer flies. Like the computer doesn't slow me down.
I'll tell you what,
all.
I can do the same thing you're doing on my Intel Q9 550 with only 8 gigs of RAM.
No.
No joke.
No
Dude,
way.
I'm shooting in 1080p footage for my movie. I'm editing and I'm playing Tomb Raider at the same time. I have Photoshop open, Illustrator. I have my browser
Well,
open.
actually,
Steam's
having all
open.
that's more of a function
TeamSpeak
of
is
your,
open. Skype is open.
That's more of a function of your hard drive. That right there is more a function of your hard drive speed. Do you have an SSD?
But I also didn't need to have your crazy system. So I'm saying I can do most of that on my Mac. Seriously, I've edited HD footage on my Mac.
No, I'm sure you
Super
could. What I'm
easy.
saying, like you said, you thought you could do everything I'm doing
Yeah.
on my work computer on your
But
MacBook
my question
Air.
is, why
Your
would you
MacBook Air-
need to? I mean, you're
Well, I
kind of
do.
pushing to the max on this, but
I do because I need to.
because you don't have enough time to render it, so you have to do several things at once.
Yeah, I don't have enough time to let every little thing go by itself, so I multitask like crazy. That's why.
Yeah, Macs can do that too.
I mean, yeah, Macs can. Your MacBook Air can't. Like if
Actually, it can. I've had like
You would-
Photoshop,
you
editing,
would physically
everything
be able
open.
to do all that stuff at one time, it doesn't physically have enough memory or enough threads. Like
I
you
don't
just.
know.
Dave, care to weigh in here?
I don't know. I really think it actually can do most of that stuff. It's not going to render as fast. The processor's not.
To a certain point, yes, Joel, but there is a technical wall you're going to hit.
But my question is, it works really well for what's in it, and it always consistently works.
It works.
Right, but
You're
Joel,
talking
well,
about maximizing a NASA PC.
If I could separate you two for a moment, Jeremiah had a good example there. But yeah, Joel, if I tried to do some of the stuff that I do on a MacBook, I did work on a Mac Pro for a long time, and eventually upgraded to a PC simply because the hardware could not keep up with some of the 3D stuff that I do.
I know, but I'm saying your PC's now much better than the Mac because you upgraded from an older Mac. I'm saying if you have the same specs in both systems, you can do the same thing. I'm saying
You can't really buy a Mac with the same
you
specs.
said said power users wouldn't use Macs, but I'm just saying for most of the stuff that people do, you can do just the same.
That's
for
true
most-
for a
for
lot of
most
people.
things.
If it has the same programs, you know. I'm
What
not
for what
saying
the
it won't.
average consumer does, they can do it on an iPad. I mean, Facebook, Pinterest, email, YouTube, Netflix, light
If
web
you're going for
browsing.
graphics, I will say that something like After Effects and anything game related is always much faster on PC. But everything else than that is not really needed because it's not really utilizing much stuff. Even when it comes to like Adobe Premiere, they don't utilize RAM well at all. It's terrible.
64-bit Adobe will let you use as much RAM as you want. Right now, I've got
Does it actually work pretty well? I know the last version I had was really bad.
The Adobe
Sony
Suite-
Vegas runs well, but
you have to have 64-bit Windows. But yeah,
I mean,
I've
you
got-
can get 12 core Macs.
the Adobe Suite can use up to 12 gigs of memory on my system, and it just it flies all the time. It's awesome. But yeah, it works pretty well now. It didn't used to.
I mean, if you're a power user, I mean, you can still get a 12 core Mac. I mean, they make
You
a
could,
ridiculous...
but for what? $3,500?
No, well, yeah, I mean,
You can build
when
a
you're paying for
computer-
Macs, you're paying for the system reliability. You know,
I could build my
the way
computer
it's
for
spec'd out.
$1,000. I could build my computer for less money than a MacBook Air.
But you're building it on your own, of course. Of course, you can get it cheaper.
Yes,
That's a
Joel,
given.
the Mac Pro line, like the desktops,
We're
are
not
not a
talking
good
about
value
price.
unless you have the money to spare. Like if you're a company and you want to spend the extra money,
Yeah,
sure.
of course.
But if
I would
you're a
never
small
buy
company,
one. It's a waste of money.
yeah. No,
We're just
laptop-wise, it's
talking
different.
about power users and usability on it. That's all I'm talking about. I'm not talking about
Right.
price because I would never do that. I only bought a laptop from Mac because I love the way it's built, the hardware. It's a very thin mat. It's the thinnest one. The touchpad rivals anything Windows has ever created.
If I ever buy a Mac, it's going to be one of their laptops for sure.
Which I respect for that, but for me, I love the ThinkPad line of laptops, Lenovo ThinkPads. And for me, like if I want a really high-end laptop, that's what I'm going to go to for the same reasons you mentioned. Like it's got a super awesome keyboard. It's really tough built. Like I really like the style. I completely understand buying a computer for the style. Hold on, in chat. JJ and Executioner. Macs a so much better than what you think. I'm watching on a MacBook Pro with an i7 256 SSD, 16 gigabytes of RAM. I'm pretty sure I'm running better than most people run. You're probably running better than most people run. You're running an i7, 16 gigs of RAM, and an SSD. Most people aren't running all of those things at the same time.
Yeah.
But I promise you, JJ, I could build my computer, or I could build a computer for half as much as you paid for your Mac that would stop a big stinking hole in its face.
Of course you can, but that's not.
Hold on.
That's not at all what we're talking about.
For 3/4 of the price, I bet I could buy a PC, a pre-built one that could do the same thing.
And this just goes back to the same argument I have with you.
Love you, JJ. Thanks for watching.
on a PC. You can spend $1,200 on a PC to get mega graphics, or you can pay $400 for the next PS4 and get very close to the same graphics.
Actually, with that, let me segue into a listener question. If you want to be a part of the show, write into casualshenanigans@gmail.com or tweet at us. Listener question. Dear Shenanigears, it seems to be a wonderful time to be a gamer. It seems a wonderful time.
Thing now? That should be a thing.
We will. All right. It seems to be a wonderful time to be a gamer. The PS4 has just been announced. The new Xbox will also be announced soon. Graphics cards and other PC components are getting beefier and cheaper every month. Hence my question. What's your favorite Prince song since 1976?
That one that I definitely have listened to, which is none of them.
I want to be the cliche and say Purple Rain because as a guitar player, I really appreciate it. But honestly, I haven't listened to that much Prince. But thank you for writing in, Roel. I'm sorry for saying your name wrong.
The shame. So can Shenanigears be a thing? That should definitely be a thing.
Yeah, the Shenanigears.
I'm just saying, that's fantastic.
And Joel, here's the most important thing to cap off our discussion.
And I have one last thing too.
Okay, you go first. You should probably go first.
No, mine will probably top yours, so you go first.
No, you go first.
I was just gonna say when you mentioned, you can build a PC at much better price, and that is very true. But the one thing you're missing though is you're not including the fact that when you get an iMac, you are getting a very high resolution 27-inch screen built in. So a lot of that stuff.
Or you could
altogether
have the freedom to buy your own high resolution screen.
One might say.
And you don't have all those crazy crappy cables coming up all over the place.
Oh, this HDMI cable, it's so tangled up.
That and mice, keyboard wires,
hey, Joel,
USB.
You can buy all-in-one PCs with like the same resolution.
They're so bad though. They look so crappy. I'm sorry. I do pay for some of the look.
They are pretty bad, but I'm saying like you can get them with a high-res screen. Anyway, for me, the PC is all about the PC platform is all about freedom. It's the freedom to build something as powerful. No, hold on, Joel. Come on.
It's just funny the way you say it. I'm just thinking you're like, I'm in bondage. I'm in slavery.
If you guys could see like my camera right now, I'm actually saluting the screen now. I'm feeling very patriotic all of a sudden.
Okay, the PC is all about freedom. Freedom to have a powerful system, to build something really amazing, to have performance that you really can't get anywhere else. But it also gives you the freedom to make really bad mistakes, to screw your system up, to buy some like a Dell with 45 crapware programs. Like you have the freedom to make really bad decisions too.
Best.
For me, I want the freedom. I want that freedom. But
no,
but on the other side of the tracks, I drive a Toyota and a Subaru because I want cars that don't break. I want a car that I can turn on. It's not that fancy and flashy, but my Tercel, I've put 60,000 miles on in 2 years, and literally nothing has gone wrong. I never am worried about it starting up. Like it's a safe experience. It's extremely, extremely reliable, and I would argue that PCs have gotten to that point on a mainstream level.
If you know how to use them.
If you know how
on
to
their
use
own,
them.
no. On their own, not at all.
I'd say they've come a long way. They're getting much closer to it.
Anytime people ask to buy a computer, I always tell them Mac, just because they get so confused on updating stuff.
Well, like if someone's looking,
or like when you go open a browser, what happens? You don't have Java. Okay, you got to click install Java, and it's like got to click the top little button and this button and this button.
Well, Macs don't magically come with Java either, do they?
No, actually they do. They do now. Yeah, it's in the Apple, whatever the Apple update, which is a little button at the top left. It's much easier for people who don't want to manage stuff. Mm-hmm. That's why I say. But for me, it's like model trains, like Dave says. I do still enjoy being able to build stuff and to be able to make a really awesome machine. But it's also, you're just tossing money into a system that probably will not innovate other than just graphics hardware. And
No.
There's not much innovation.
Real innovation happens.
There's much more innovation on PC thanks to
like
modding
what?
and
Like what?
Real
indie
innovation, real
Indie
innovation
developers?
happens on the PC, Joel, and then Apple comes out with it 10 years later, and then people are like,
Because they finally do it well, implement it well.
well, they
Saying.
market
But-
it. They
If
market
Windows
the innovation
would make
happens
it
on
more
PC.
user-friendly, you
Yeah,
get
yeah,
more
Joel,
people running on PCs.
the
Sorry, they would.
innovation. It is super
Okay.
user friendly now. It's
Okay,
very
let's
user-friendly.
talk about OS X, right? When a
Well-
new update comes out, it gets adopted ridiculously fast. For Windows, people are literally dragged to have to update. People don't want
By
to
update,
It's
you mean
"Oh,
like a
I
new
gotta
version of the
update."
software?
Yeah, new version of the software.
Yeah, you know
Mac,
why?
it's like, bam,
because,
you're done.
Because everything Apple tells you is you have to like if you don't have this, you're using the old version. We might as well just spit on you.
There are so
dig
many
a grave,
stupid
and dump
Windows
you in it.
commercials. There are Windows commercials that are so retarded. Okay, that like you choose. This is my Windows. I'm like, they're lame. I know Mac has a lot of lame commercials too, but I'm just saying they adopt it quickly because it's easy. Windows, it's not.
They adopt it because they're under pressure to do it. Like as soon as a new iPhone
So
gets
you don't
announced,
wanna-
everyone's trying to dump their old iPhones because how could we possibly live without all of these new features?
Why
that
would
we
you
didn't
not
know
want?
we needed?
Why? Well, you just get a new graphics card just like when it comes out. What's the difference?
Not I upgrade.
You guys
small
get
little
teary-eyed
pieces.
when you see a new GTX 5 billion or something.
Well, that's also a difference. Max, if you get all the stars in your eyes for the new thing, you have to take your entire system and get rid of it. You could sell it or something, but you have to get rid of it and get the whole new system. Whereas
Hey,
on
Macs
a PC,
sell really well. They hold their value. That's the best part about them. They're like gold bricks. I sold a Mac from
Not really.
2003. I sold a laptop Mac. 2003. It had 512 megabytes of RAM in it. Guess how much I sold this thing for?
well, when did you sell it? That matters.
I sold it 2 years ago.
Well, how many is a few?
What do you mean? How many?
Like
2 years ago.
2009? Okay, 2010, 2011. Okay,
Yeah, I bought a laptop for my mom from the
guess
website.
you sold it for $500.
Mac of all trades. It's a really good site if you want to get a refurb one for really cheap. But I bought it for $350 and I sold it for $300.
Yeah, that's decent.
But I'm like, no one, like, I can't even sell a laptop that's so much faster than that to someone. They wouldn't want to buy it. I could barely sell it for like $150 unless you find the perfect person
Well, no,
who,
like,
at a church that like all they want to do is run PowerPoint and they know nothing about computers, so you can like rip them off horribly.
premium
Joel.
computers will still go for a good amount. Like ThinkPads, they hold their value pretty well. But for the same reason, because they are sturdy, they will last you 8 years. You know, they hold their value for the same reason a lot of Macs do, because they're well built. But anyway, my point. I'm sorry, Joel, I didn't get to finish my point. My point was going to be, ultimately, at the end of the day, it doesn't bother me anymore if people like Macs. Like, it used to bother me that people would defend them so much. I'll joke around with you now, like, because we're
yeah,
friends.
I mean, I don't really care.
Well, I think we
I
both
just
know
always-
that's not true. We care.
No, I mean,
Yeah,
can't
you
really
both
say-
care.
I have both. I have a PC, I have a Mac, I have an iPhone, I have Xbox and PS3, so I'm kind of the most well-rounded here. So.
Oh, yeah.
And,
yeah.
people fear Windows updates, okay? People fear Windows updates. They don't fear Mac.
Let me
They
finish
don't.
my point. Okay, I could talk about that. I fear
Power
Mac.
users don't fear it because they're
I'm an
literally
IT.
wearing
I run
gauntlets and
IT.
drinking
Where I
Mountain
work,
Dew.
I run IT, and I fear Mac updates because they're going to break at least half the iPads I have to roll it out on. Guaranteed each time.
That is so different. That's
What do you
like
mean it's different? It's one of their-
That's developer stuff. I would
I
fear
mean, the
stuff.
developer.
I would fear the same thing if I was trying to update a zillion iPads.
No. By update, I mean the official Apple software update.
Why? What's so hard about it? You don't know how to put a password in? That's literally all you do.
No.
You put a
Joel,
password
here's the
in
problem.
and bam.
So to upgrade, I'm never going to finish my touching, heartwarming point. Okay, to upgrade iOS on one of these, on like an iPad, first we have to back it up, and it tells you it's backed up, but it doesn't back up everything, so you have to know what you're doing to back it up correctly, in case something goes wrong. That's in case something goes wrong. Otherwise, it works fine. But you have to have iTunes completely up to date. iTunes cannot be a day out of date, or it will not update iOS, because those two are related somehow.
Same thing as Windows.
Not at all. So
Right.
so the update downloads, then it goes to install it. But this has happened, like, it's not some isolated incident. I've had this happen probably a dozen times across half a dozen different iPad or iPhone and machine, different computers, whether Mac or PC combinations. The updates just don't work. Like, and they'll say something like, "Sorry, update failed." One of the bosses where I work, has an iPad 2 that's stuck on iOS 5, and I've explained to her that she doesn't need to upgrade to iOS 6 because most of the changes are tiny little things that don't matter that much. But she's desperate to have the latest and greatest, and we cannot get her iPad to update. I've flashed it. I've completely wiped it and started over. Like, I've done manual upgrades. I've downloaded the update files from different websites. Like, I've done everything I can possibly think of to do. And
well, we can't talk about just individual small circumstances. I'm talking about more big, broad, general, expressions of how things work.
But I'm saying, as far as you say, people fear updates. That's the reason I mentioned it.
Most companies are still running XP. They're really scared to update.
As an IT guy,
breaks a lot of stuff.
As an IT guy, I don't like updating anything that works in general. And that's like a pretty good standard for upgrades. It should be. Don't upgrade what isn't broken. Apple likes doing their yearly upgrades, and that's fine. But as an IT guy, I do not like doing those upgrades. I don't look forward to them because stuff does go wrong. Whether it's on a Mac or a PC, stuff goes wrong. I'm not saying one is worse than the other. I'm saying stuff does go wrong. And it's equally
one's worse than the other.
To me, it's more frustrating on a Mac because everything has to work in their system. Like, if I can't get iTunes to work, my only choice is to figure out how to get iTunes to work. Because on a PC, there are different avenues I can go through. But on the Mac, I'm stuck doing it Apple's way. So that's why, no, I would disagree with you about the whole updates thing. But anyway, let me finish my point, and then we have to move on.
You're an IT guy, and you can't update an iPad.
Not can't. Can. Don't like
just
doing
so everyone
it.
knows, once you get a job, he cannot update an iPad.
All right. My point was going to be, it does not bother me. It does not bother me that people prefer Macs. I just want them to prefer it for the right reasons. It only bothers me when they prefer them for marketing lies. The same as anything else. Like,
what marketing lies?
Okay, we both came through a graphics program. I know you've heard those marketing lies.
No, I know, but I'm trying to think of.
You're doing graphic design on something other than a Mac? What are you, stupid?
Well, that's just a bunch of hipsters. That's
marketing.
That's
their
not
marketing.
From
their marketing is
that's not coming from.
If
Apple,
you are doing
though.
video, audio, graphics, like, you need to do it. They say it. They say this. It's better on a Mac. You need to do it on a Mac. Macs are the best at it. And really, it's not really that different.
What else to say? Do it on the Mac because it's about the same as Windows.
No, that would
be like a terrible commercial.
That wouldn't be that wouldn't be good marketing. I'm saying I understand why they market it that way. It just bothers me when people try to argue for that reason. Like, but you don't understand. I need it because.
Well, like, then those people are casual people. Then you shouldn't be debating with them.
There were a lot of casual people in my graphic design
hipsters.
major. A lot of people in my major were casual then, like, because a lot of them said the same stuff. I mean,
a lot of people in design classes are really casual. And
I was one of maybe 5 or 6 people in the design program that I knew of that didn't use a Mac.
It's sad to know how many people are in design programs that like have no idea how to use.
That's very true.
At all.
That is very true.
It's so sad. Just a funny story. My uncle, who's the pastor at my church, he was trying to get his email to work, and when he says you have to use a web browser to go to Gmail, right?
Right. Well, you don't have to.
He thinks that Internet Explorer I put Chrome on his computer, and he thinks Chrome is email. Right?
Oh yeah, I've been down this road before.
And it clicks on it. It's like, I got to Google, where's my Gmail and everything, and it's just funny. And he's like, what icon do I press? I'm like, click on that one icon that looks kind of all colorful. It's got yellow and red. It looks like a little circle, a little target almost. And it was just like, okay, I clicked on that, and what happened now? Something just popped up. It's like, I'm like, poor people.
Oh, that's the worst.
Actually, if I can go on a short other IT rant, and then we need to end the podcast at some point. Because we're running up close to 2 hours.
We're going to run right into next week's podcast if we're not careful.
We can just keep it going until the next dev blog comes out.
Just stay up all night.
This is something that, whether you like Macs or PCs or Linux, this is the same. Although not really Linux. It really
it offers you the most freedom. Why aren't you on that?
It bothers me.
You want a little bit of bondage.
That it's still in vogue to not know how to use a computer. Even though like it's not cool to not know how to drive or to not be able to like wash your clothes or basic things like that. Like it's pretty well accepted. You need to know how to do that. Right, like you need to know how to bathe yourself, take care of yourself, like
operate your coffee machine.
But there are people I've worked with who've been using computers as the main tool of their job, using them for like 6 to 8 hours a day for the past 8 or 9 years, and they still can't use one. Like, they still don't know how to copy and paste or do an email attachment or how to open a PDF. Like, why? And anytime I teach it, like, I do a lot of IT support, and anytime I'm showing them how to do it for the umpteenth time, they're like, haha, it's just these computers, you know, like, they're just so, like, you young kids, you're so good at them. And like, you've been using one longer than I've owned one. Shut up. But, like, does that bother you guys
Hello,
at all?
my name is Jeremiah. What can I do for you?
Does that bother you guys at all? Like, it really
Oh
bothers
yeah,
me.
absolutely.
And you know what? You know what I've actually found in common for people that don't know how to use computers well. I don't know how to speak well. Is anybody I've noticed that doesn't know how to use a computer well, that have used computers for a long time, and you know, and it's even the dentist I go to, their computers are running off a really old XP version, and he doesn't have any clue how to use the computer other than the dentist program. Is people who are not willing to explore and fail. To be honest, that's the biggest
exactly.
thing. Anybody who's not, they're like, I'm scared to touch buttons. I always tell them, like,
Right.
just touch all the buttons, figure out. They say, well, where's a book? I'll just read in a book. I'm like, well, you can't read everything in a book because you won't remember that thing you read about when the time you need to use it on a computer.
Right.
So you got to explore, you got to press buttons.
That's a
and see
great
what
point.
happens.
Because as a kid, like, I just dove in there and just tried everything. Like, I broke things occasionally, but never seriously. Like, that's how you learn.
I broke it every day and reformatted it every day.
I was doing practice Windows 98 installations when I was like 12 years old. I would just reinstall Windows 98 just because, like, I found a disk with new and improved drivers. I had no internet access on that computer, so
that's exciting.
driver disks were still, like, they were relevant. But, like, you know, I learned how to format disks, and there were plenty of times where I screwed stuff up because, like, if you remember Windows 98, that program did not work well. And you know, like, I made tons of mistakes all the time, and I'm pretty good with a computer now. But, like, computers, honestly, they've come so far. Once you learn the basics of how to use a mouse, and if you've never used a computer, a mouse is going to be weird at first. Once you learn the basics of that, it's not that hard. You click on things that take you places. Like, and they use pictures.
Yeah, and now with Windows 8, they're like, remember all that stuff you learned in Windows 7? We're taking it all away.
No, Windows 8 is, I think, better in a lot of ways because the people
Hold on,
the people who are familiar with Windows, they can easily get to the desktop and do everything like they were doing before. It doesn't really
They
affect you
cannot
that much.
easily get to the desktop. Oh god.
With like 2 button clicks.
If they can find those 2 button clicks.
This is a dangerous rabbit trail here.
But anyway,
Dave,
we're not going to get off on this.
Are you just
But
sitting
people,
in your
people who really only want to look at their email or watch Netflix, or people who are more app driven, that is going to be a much smoother experience on Windows 8.
Till they get out of the app and can't figure out a way to get back to the app.
All right, Joel, we know you don't like it, but I think they've made a lot of positive strides in that area. But anyway, we should probably wind the podcast down.
If I could interject here for
yes, you can.
Just real quick. So thank you to our live viewers. The first person to post Joel's in-game DayZ name in chat, I'm going to give you guys a copy of Arma 3 Alpha Light Key.
Oh, come on. I was just about to do that too.
Yeah. Okay, we'll both give away one. All right, so I'll give my copy to the first person to post Joel's in-game DayZ name that he uses. Post it in chat. The first person to do it gets my key. Jeremiah,
and then,
you do your thing.
And then I will say, not for one of the live people, I've looked at who's watching live. None of you guys can win. The first person who listens to the podcast and makes it all the way to the end here, write into us with a reference from the podcast to prove you listened to it, just for fun.
Something from Jeremiah's speech about liberty and freedom and all that patriotic stuff.
Yeah. Just give me your favorite quote, or honestly, you can probably just write in, tweet at me, write a comment on this video or something like that, and I will I'll give you a copy of it as well.
Giveaways. See, you guys listen, you get rewarded.
James,
it's all good time.
James just won Arma 3. Wait, can James win?
Wait, I can give it away. Don't I have some of those as well?
Yeah.
I didn't realize I forgot.
You should have 3 copies too in your Steam.
I'll give you one, James.
All right, James, you can you can have Joel's, and then whoever else writes it in can have yeah.
Whoever calls Joel a dirty name gets an extra copy. Just kidding.
He totally deserves it.
I picture Dave in his house right now, like eating popcorn, you know, just as he's watching. He's like, "Ooh, this is good."
Not popcorn, but I just been like leaning back in my chair, drinking my coffee, just like, "Oh yeah, fight!"
Ding ding ding.
Punch him in the face.
Okay. looks like JJ is our winner.
Nice. For my copy, I guess.
Yeah. You
Sweet.
should probably PM it to him. Just
Yeah.
paste it in chat.
JJ, do me a favor and on YouTube, send me a YouTube PM with your email address. I can email it to you.
But yeah, thank you guys for watching. As always, thank you. We enjoy doing this. And does anyone have any parting shots before we go, other than Evil Viking 13 on Evil Viking 13 on YouTube, JERMgaming on YouTube, Boundless MP on YouTube. Follow us all on Twitter. Watch all our
Beware.
stuff. Shameless whoring.
Beware of Joel's channel. Beware.
Oh, it's not shame. It's full of shame.
Always be sure, if you have any questions, you want to be part of the show, write into casualshenanigans@gmail.com, tweet at Casual Shenaniga, follow us on Twitter at Evil Viking, at JERMgaming. I don't know if Joel has a Twitter. And thank you guys very much, and we will see you later.
See you guys.
See you guys.